ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I am one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, we have 3 new news stories for you, and they're pretty TV-heavy news stories. There wasn't much movie news this week, but there was a lot of TV news, so we'll get to that. We'll have trailer talk this week. The new Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer has dropped, so we'll talk about that. The new to streaming, of course, it's the first week of the month, and it's a pretty decent lineup, and then we'll get to what we're watching and our main review for the episode, The Green Knight. I'm very excited, boys, for that one, but we'll get to that later. Also joining me today, and as always, it's noble Nathaniel Gingrich.
Hello, I am very noble.
Oh, so noble, Nathaniel. I'll give you guys your knightly names this week.
They feel very regal.
Yeah?
Overall, yes.
What a nice word, regal.
And a pretty decent cinema chain.
Decent. It's the best one around my school, so that's what I'll be frequenting.
Fair enough.
In about 2 weeks. Also joining me today is True Will Tyler Berdalis.
Hey there.
Oh, are you like a wizard?
What character is this?
It's just I'm an old knight.
An old knight. Okay. You have much wisdom.
I do.
Wisdom.
Are you getting too old for this shit?
Nah.
You're not close to retiring.
Nah, not even.
Good.
Tyler's J.K. Simmons in the Tomorrow War. He's ready to go.
Badass.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is the average life expectancy on a knight?
Back then,
Like 40
max
years.
40s.
I was gonna say 37.
Yeah. Well, a life expectancy back then in general was like you were old at like 35.
Yeah.
Was it though?
Nuts.
I think so.
thought like they were like saying more too that because there were so many people that died younger that like when they say those life expectancy numbers,
Was that it?
that it's like
That's just what
actually
dragged it down?
skewed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I still don't think people
right,
live in past like
that,
60.
That makes sense.
I feel like
I definitely think like
Okay,
you
but
get
it's not
you
30.
rack up the
I
miles
see.
a lot quicker, but it's
gotcha.
not necessarily that like everyone's just turning into an old crone at 47.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And rounding out the squadron, of course, it's Blake the Bold, BlakeHolder.
Big Blake the Bold.
I knew you were going to do that, too. I said that, and I was like, I forgot the big part, and now Nathaniel's going to correct me, and sure enough, it happened. How you doing, Blake?
I'm good, man. We'll take the name.
Yeah?
As long as it doesn't involve torture.
There you go. That was
I think we're.
that was
I think we
option
can let
number
it
one,
rock.
but I was like, yeah.
I mean, it takes a bold mind to enjoy the
Yeah, there you
merits
go.
of torture. Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really don't personally, but it's a funny joke, so we can let it rock.
Yeah. Oh, man. How was your guys' week? It's been a long week for me. I don't know why.
I feel like I blinked in the weeks gone by.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the opposite for me. I feel like it's been a while since we recorded. But
I
here we
don't
are,
even know.
regardless. Yeah? Tyler's just like, I'm here.
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Right.
All right. Well, if we don't have too much more to talk about, I guess, or any life updates, we can just get into the news and the updates on the news for the week.
Maybe the news will bring about some more of our news.
Of course. Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Bit of sizzle. Stay tuned.
First news story of the week. The Pokemon live action series is in development at Netflix. This, of course, following Detective Pikachu, but I think it's unrelated.
Do you think it's been long enough now that they can just like download the skins of all the Pikachu or all of the Pokemon from Detective Pikachu? Like those are just flash files that they can just like upload in now.
I
Like the character models.
if it helps production, yes, but I would be shocked if they kept that level of production up for an entire like season of a show. I feel like
I'd
that was
really
a
like them to
decent-
go a different direction, though.
Yeah. I haven't seen Detective Pikachu. I just remember the look from the trailers. I was fine with it. Didn't love it. What kind of direction were you thinking, Ty?
I don't know, but I
It's
don't
live action.
overly care for the the animation from
Okay.
Detective Pikachu.
Okay.
Some of the close-ups look really good with like actual Pikachu, and that's probably because they just want to spend more money on
Sure.
Ryan Reynolds' character.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
yeah, some of the animation I don't overly care for.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to keep up that level of budget because, excuse me, it looked like they put in a
Or
lot of
will
money to
they
it.
though? Who knows? It's Netflix. They could
True,
just be,
true.
you know, dumping a ton of money into it. I'd rather they. I feel like there's a better chance with something like this than like the. What was that comic book Jupiter's Legacy or something
Jupiter's
like
Legacy.
that? Like, yeah, I think.
How do you think that this budget compares to like a Witcher? Similar?
I would think, yeah, similar. I would expect,
Yeah.
both kind of video game content.
I would hope they put more money into this than The Witcher. I think it's a much bigger IP. I think there's much more potential and much more people obviously know about Pokemon. That's a global fucking franchise.
Well, yeah, I guess I
and
wonder.
The Witcher's not.
I guess there isn't like
Sorry.
a number that would surprise me. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Tyler, I didn't mean to cut you off. If I found out Netflix was spending $200 million on this or something like that, that wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I guess is my
same
my
here.
thing too. Tyler, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, don't fuck with my childhood. This is probably part of the reason why I also don't overly care for Detective Pikachu, because you're messing with something that I grew up on, and I don't know if I want you to mess with it.
Right.
That's fair, but
You don't.
they still have new Pokemon content. Like I'm not
I know,
mad about
but
it.
I'm okay with it being an anime.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Initial D. I don't know if you guys know this, but Initial D ended up being a movie later on in its
okay.
life, and it's a
Yeah.
live action movie, and it's god awful.
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, who knows, man? Maybe they throw that Pokemon live action the same bag they threw the fucking Lord of the Rings Amazon TV show.
they
and
very
it's
well
fucking
could. I mean,
awesome.
those
knows?
IPs are very comparable in size, I would say.
Probably. I think Pokemon.
No, honestly, they are.
Yeah.
If you look it up, Pokemon's like one of the biggest franchises
100%.
ever at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
Brother.
I mean, if Netflix has the cash, I mean, Bezos was probably throwing bills at Lord of the Rings, but if
Like
Netflix has the
Bezos probably
cash,
just paid that directly out
yeah,
of his own account.
he was just like, put it on the debit, put it on the black card. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Money is no object. What do I have to
yeah.
do? Buy New Zealand? Okay.
Yeah. Ty, I kind of disagree with you. I mean, this is Pokemon was something I was into as a very young kid, and then got out of for a while, and then didn't get back into until I was like 13, and I've been into it ever since. And so I'm down for them to keep trying to make this more relevant again. I mean, they have Pokemon's still relevant with Pokemon Go, the most recent probably blow up of Pokemon, but like the games still sell well. You still see Pokemon cards nowadays are flying off the shelves. Like it's still here, and I think they can capitalize on this newfound appreciation for it that's come in the past, I would say 5-6 years.
It seems to have a resurgence every
Yeah.
5 years. It's weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, but I'm down for them as long as they can make it good. If they can make it equal or greater quality to the Witcher series, which I think they can. There's potential for Pokemon. There's so many places you can go with it. If it's good animation, it's good acting, they put enough money into it to make this good, and they don't half-ass it, I'm all on board.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is led by the showrunner is going to be Joe Henderson, who is of Lucifer fame.
Okay.
He
Haven't
did
seen
Lucifer. I haven't either. I've heard okay things.
it. Well, yeah, and I think Netflix bought the rights to that show.
I believe they did.
So that
Yeah.
maybe
I
he
think it was a
did it
CW
for
show.
them first or something.
Yeah, but yeah, I've heard decent things about Lucifer, so we'll see where that goes. Stay tuned. This isn't.
I wonder if it'll be like the story of Ash, though, or if it'll be like a new original story or something.
I wouldn't be opposed to them doing Ash.
I think it'd be kind of fun.
I think it would be too.
Be a good way to get like the nostalgia heads like Tyler on board, and if they
Maybe,
did
yeah.
that well, then maybe you could do more spin-offs.
Maybe
or
they
something like that.
recreate the first season of the original anime.
Yeah, like the
live
Indigo
action.
League. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah. I'd be down for that. We see is it Brock?
yeah, Brock and Misty.
Yeah, Brock and Misty, and Pikachu, of course. This isn't like greenlit. They've just started development on this, so
Okay.
hopefully, if they can get everything smoothed out, this is approved. Also approved and set for release is Hawkeye, which is set for release on November 24th
Of this year.
of this year, 2021, the year of our Lord, 2021. Coming to Disney Plus, this will be the 4th Disney Marvel TV show.
So this is the next one we're getting.
This will be
after. Well, when's What If?
What If is next week,
Okay.
August 11th, and then it'll be Shang-Chi in September, and then this will be the next thing after that. So we've really been getting one Marvel thing a month, if not a little bit more.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of stuff.
We've been getting a lot. I mean, because it's built up a little bit because of the pandemic. And I don't know. I don't really want to talk about the whole lawsuit thing between Scarlett Johansson and Disney. It's
who knows?
Rich people just complaining. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for this one. I think it's confirmed that in the story, at least, they do say that Florence Pugh's coming back. So maybe Blake will finally get one of these shows.
She's in what now? Hawkeye show?
The Hawkeye.
I will.
Now Blake's
certainly.
listening. Now Blake's listening.
Yeah, I may have to pay attention to that one.
Yeah, she's coming in because obviously, a bit of spoilers for the end credit scene of Black Widow.
Okay, right.
She is prompted to be in relation to Hawkeye in some way. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to spoil
she
too
says
much.
she, yeah.
But so she's tied to Hawkeye towards the end, or in the post credit scene of Black Widow. So maybe this will be that story, but it also looks like Haley Steinfeld's in this as Kate Bishop, which is kind of the person that Hawkeye hands the title off to, as far as I know. I don't know, Tyler, if you can speak more on that.
I actually don't.
That's the Hawkeye series. I think it's My Life as a Weapon. I want to say. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm too.
down.
After Loki, we'll see what kind of maybe multiverse stuff they have. I don't know if they'll do much with it because obviously it's from the sacred timeline here.
Well, I also think
Renner.
they're also building. They've been quietly building the Young Avengers in the background too, and I'd be interested to see if maybe this is kind of the backdoor pilot for that too, where it's kind of leading us one way with the Florence Pugh Black Widow, and then maybe kind of setting up more of that stuff.
You gotta think though that Kate Bishop is gonna take over as Hawkeye in some capacity, because I gotta think Jeremy Renner's getting.
No, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think maybe she might be like the link to the Avengers or something like that,
and maybe she plays in both Young Avengers.
Yeah,
Haley Steinfeld's what? How old? 24. I mean, she's not young. Is she? I don't think she's super young. I don't know if she could.
Young to us.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend your people. I just didn't. I mean, she wasn't like. I don't feel like she's that young Avenger kind of age. She was born in 96, 24.
Okay.
So I she could probably play young enough to get on a Young Avenger, but she'd probably be towards like the leaders. I would say probably the more mature.
Well, how old is Tom Holland?
23.
Yeah, I was gonna say 24 max.
Yeah.
That's just me guessing.
He is 25.
Wow.
Okay.
Also,
that's close.
96. Same year as Haley Steinfeld.
So, I think maybe, I think they'll just be like 20 or something like that in that series.
Yeah. They could fit in there.
But then, I see what you're saying too, because like if you think of like the twins from WandaVision, but then they're growing quickly too. Who knows? We'll see. We'll have to tune in and find out what happens.
Yes, we will this November. And our last news story, which another TV show that also got a release date. Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series reveals first look and premiere date.
Yes.
The first look comes in the form of a still image, which Nathaniel, I can show you here. Listeners, the article is going to be linked in the description if you want to go take a look there. It's the first image there. It has just a lone figure in a white cape or cloak, one of the two. I don't even know what town. I don't know if that's a well-known town on Lord of the Rings. Tyler, you could probably tell me if you want to look up this image.
I'm a little too far away from my diagnosis.
I'm sorry, I didn't angle it back.
It could be Minas Tirith. It could be
Tyler. I don't know if you want to give this a look really quick.
But then I know this is supposed to be about the Second Age. I want to say.
Yes, it's the Second Age. So it does take place in a different time of the Middle Earth saga.
I have no idea.
But the release date for this is going to be Friday, September 2nd of 2022.
It looks like Rivendell.
Yeah, I was about to say Rivendell, but I didn't want to speak ahead of myself and get that wrong. But that was where my brain jumped to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Rivendell.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was like right because it looked like Rivendell, or if it was right because that's like the only town I could probably name from Lord of the Rings. So I wasn't gonna speak on that. But
Minas Tirith, Rohan, the Shire. You stupid?
Relax. I could have gotten the Shire. I didn't know if we were counting that as like a city. Anyway, September 2nd, 2022, over a year away. They were hoping to get it out. The article says they're hoping to get out in 2021, but coronavirus kind of messed with their production, as you can expect.
I had heard about that.
So we're looking at one more year.
One more year.
For the most expensive TV show ever produced.
What is the number up to at this point?
It says this somewhere in the story. It was
$1,000. Holy crap.
Oh, wow.
They got that for
What
a
a budget.
steal.
Yeah. Man, I thought it said here. Right, $465 million for just the first season of the show.
Holy crap.
Only almost $500 million.
Run it.
Put on the black card. Jeff
Indeed.
Bezos don't give a fuck.
How much of that do you think is just directly into New Zealand's GDP? Like what percentage?
What percentage gets
of,
into New Zealand's economy?
Yeah.
I would say
A quarter.
maybe even more. I'd say like a third.
How much of that, like how much out of a year do you think that just contributes to New Zealand?
Is this a
Like,
Google
as a
search?
country?
How? Oh man, who do we lose?
We lost Blake, it looks like.
Oh no. Or I guess we're gonna take. We don't have to take a break. I'm gonna look this up anyway.
This is how we're filling.
Yeah, this is how we're filling. How much is Lord of the Rings
Worth to New Zealand?
worth to New Zealand? Let's see if we can find this out. I'm still in images.
I was going to say, he just brought up a map.
Yeah. Let's see. Man. This is Forbes.
4%.
Four. You already found it?
No, I
Oh,
just threw out a
okay.
random number.
I'm trying to find it here. It just tells me about 1% of visitors. It said that Lord of the Rings is the main reason they visit New Zealand.
Okay.
The economic impact of Lord of the Rings. Online MBA. Let's see if this is reliable. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut out any silence here, so I'm not too worried.
Any dead air we got
Yeah.
going on here?
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick with 4% until I hear otherwise. And that's the number we're going with.
And he's sticking to it, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sticking to it, ladies and germs. Why do people say that?
I wish I could tell you.
Ladies and germs.
Yeah. Like, I wonder where that joke originated. Google that.
Probably because guys are disgusting.
Because guys are gross.
One question at a time
Yeah.
here, Nathaniel.
I don't care. We don't have to do the other one. Obviously, we know.
Cooties.
We obviously know Lord of the Rings accounts for 4% of New Zealand's
Wild guess.
yearly revenue. Blake has messaged the group, says that his Discord decided to update
Okay. Well, it looks like this is going to be a longer pause than we anticipated here.
to keep it rolling.
We can keep talking, and I'll go through and cut out any dead air there is here. So if you guys want to talk, don't worry about it.
I don't want to talk to you guys.
Cool. I'm glad we're doing a podcast together.
Oh, weird. I'm technically talking to the listeners.
Then how come I can respond to you and hear you and you respond to me?
Well, because we're in a dialogue with one another, but I'm talking to them.
All right.
Can you hear me, listener? I'm here for you.
Is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me?
Is the loneliest number.
All right. In 2010,
Anybody?
Daily News did an article saying New Zealand could lose $1.5 billion to its economy if The Hobbit doesn't film there.
The Hobbit already filmed there.
No, this is in 2010. I already said.
So 3 movies would be worth 1.5 billion.
Correct.
That's got to be 4%. That's what I'm going to say.
What is
What is
What is
New Zealand's
New Zealand's
GDP?
GDP? $206.9 billion. I swear to God, if this is 4%, I swear to God,
There's no way it's going to.
there's no way it's less.
It's already,
That's
yeah,
less
it's
than
already
4%.
less.
But
It could be 0.4.
it looks like it was going to be less than 1%. Apparently,
Is there a 4 in there though? Is it 0.04?
It's a repeating number. Well, not a repeating number. It's a long number here. Where the fuck did the calculator go?
We'll round up.
There's a 4. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 5th digit.
Okay.
So I think you won, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I'm going to chalk it up as a win.
I would if I were you.
This man is fast.
They all fast, man. They all crazy fast. I don't think you don't realize how fast they are because they're all fast. And then if like I were to run against one of them, you'd realize, oh shit.
I do like the idea of having a normal person in there.
Yeah.
As a baseline.
As a constant, as a controlled variable. Yeah. It's just like someone out of the crowd.
I support this theory. Yeah, just a Joe Blow.
Like they put you in the pool.
Yep.
Imagine being selected. You're the constant for the 1,500 meter.
Yep. I want one of those,
race.
but then I also want one guy just juiced to the gills.
You want a controlled non-athlete, but then you want a controlled.
And then I want Steve Rogers. Yeah.
Okay. I think they get more viewers. I think you could sell that.
Sign me up. How annoyed would you be that you're just constantly beaten by guys by like 0.3 of a second or something?
Imagine being like the top one, like you're the 10th fastest person in the
Right.
world, and no one gives a fuck about
Right.
you. Like you've trained your entire life to get to the Olympics,
I mean,
and no one looks at you.
Surely they've got to have like a moderate following, you would think. Like,
I don't know.
depending on who they are.
Maybe in the track community, like.
But the girls do. They all of the Instagrams. They got to be.
Oh yeah, the girls for sure. Guys screwed.
Yeah.
Guys, or girls, you can make a following on Instagram, and people, guys especially, will follow that kind of thing.
Barstool or higher.
But yeah, you can be a Barstool athlete, whatever you want. But I think if you're a guy, just like imagine getting to the Olympics.
But even then, like if you're on the Olympic team, you got to have some sort of endorsement with Nike.
Oh
like,
yeah, I'm not saying you're not making money, but it's just like
there's just the
there's no
disparity
fame.
between like
You
number
are-
one.
No one knows who you are.
Right, number 1 and number 10 is just massive.
At least, yeah. I guess maybe that's not true because like we look at all the U.S. racers, and like
yes, all of the racers in F1.
racers, runners, and like
No, racers made sense there. We'll go with it.
Yeah, I feel like it was interchangeable. I paused for a second because I was like, is that the right thing? But like we pay attention to all the U.S. ones, but like I'm not really looking at Switzerland in the back of the race, but you know, maybe that's the only Switzerland runner, and Switzerland's like, yes, let's go.
That's our boy.
Yeah, that's our boy. You know. So maybe it just doesn't matter to me because I only look at the winners from the other countries. Maybe it's all about perspective.
Could be.
You good, Blake?
That's life, man. Yeah, I think I'm good. My Discord, like, it said trying to connect, and then it went through like 3 updates. And I don't really know why. But
Probably means I'll get it in about 45 minutes.
Yeah,
It's contagious.
so
All right. Well, we can just keep on cruising. I'm just gonna
Let's
edit.
keep on
I'm
cruising.
gonna edit through that what we need to keep and what we don't. But hello, listeners. Thank you for taking that sort of pause, sort of intermission, sort of break, little back row break.
Brief break.
Big brief break.
A big brief break.
Big beef. Big Italian beef.
I don't know.
where we at, fellas? We at, what did I miss? We at trailer talk. We at
Yeah, we were just shooting the shit, trying to calculate New Zealand's GDP. Let's move on.
Is that
here.
off that Bezos conversation?
Off the Lord of the Rings conversation, try to see how much of how much of New Zealand's GDP is from Lord of the Rings, but it's kind of hard to figure out. Who knew? Who knew economics is hard? Good thing I'm not an economics major. Let's move on here, guys, to the trailer talk. The Venom Let There Be Carnage Trailer 2 trailer is out.
It sure is.
Showed a lot more than we got in the first one, especially of Carnage himself.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more action, it seemed like, in this one. A lot more humor as well. They seemed to reveal a decent amount of humor. I still haven't seen the first one, so I have nothing to compare this to. Don't know if there was a lot of humor in the first one.
Decent amount.
Decent amount?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say this feels a little bit different already for sure. And I think that's just because of maybe the switch over in directors, going with oh God, his name has just flown completely out of my head. Gollum. Tyler,
Serkis.
help. Yeah, Andy Serkis,
Serkis.
thank you. God, that was horrifying for a second.
Sorry.
Over Ruben Fleischer and everything. I think, obviously he knows how to film. CGI characters and what they bring and kind of the ins and outs of that for sure. So I think that may be where we see the biggest difference here. But looks interesting.
Yeah, definitely does.
I'm always in for Woody Harrelson. I love a good weird Woody role.
Sure.
Yeah, what do you guys think of? We definitely got a more clear look at Carnage's design. Do you guys like it? Hate it?
I like it. I mean, I honestly don't hate the first one. The first one kind of got a lot of flack, but it's cool, man. I don't mind it. I think I saw it twice, so it's kind of cool to be back in that world. Having Tom Hardy voice Venom is always fun again, just to kind of hear that and their interactions. Once you realize he's voicing both, it just kinda makes it like that much more funny, you know. So yeah. I think I'm sold. I'm definitely there to watch it.
Adam, let me ask you, as a person who didn't see the first one, did this trailer think, hey, get you on board to come on to the second one? And maybe go back and watch that original?
Here's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
No. I yes and no, because I think we'll probably maybe review this on the pod, depending on what's out that week and everything. And maybe we'll go back and review the first one the week before, or do a double episode, whatever we end up doing. We'll have to wait and see. But if I didn't have this podcast, this trailer is not like, oh, I got to go see the first one, and so I can see this one. I would probably wait. It's intrigued me enough where I wasn't opposed to seeing the first one. I just never got around to it, and it just never. I never, even after it's come out and I've had time to go watch it, I just am like.
It's a really good movie for 2004.
That's actually sounds like a great description from what I know of it. That's a good way to put it, because 2004, a very different time for superhero movies.
Yeah, exactly.
But since this has come out, I've never really been like, oh, gotta go watch Venom, or it's never. I also don't know if it's
so
to a
weird.
streaming service where like it's available for me to see and just click on.
It might be on Disney Plus now.
That sounds like
I have no idea. I don't think I've seen
Fox.
it anywhere in streaming.
No, it was Sony.
Sony. Oh, you're right. I don't know what their streaming deal is like. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, listeners. Yeah, I would have to, if I didn't have this podcast, I would probably wait and see what this is like and what the reviews are, and then maybe go back and watch. But this is not anything where I'm like, I can't wait to go see this, or I'm gonna go watch the first one so I know what's going on in this one, so I can watch it right after. Like, did none of that for me. Ty, what are your thoughts here? Is there a resident, probably biggest superhero and comic book fan?
I like the design of it. I'm excited for it.
Do you feel like Carnage is different enough for you to be able to like differentiate them on the screen when they're going to be doing a big googly monster match? Like, is he red enough for you to be able to tell him apart from Venom?
Yeah, I think they'll do an okay job. Plus, I think they're going to play out, given how much personality they've given the symbiote, I think they're going to be able to differentiate the two very well.
Ah, okay.
Now, does this trailer make it look like he might be some sort of spin-off from Venom?
Yeah, it looks like he bites him and then gains his power like a reverse vampire.
Yeah.
And Ty might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually think Carnage is like an offspring of Venom.
I don't know.
Right? Remember what the full relation is, but there is definitely a relation between the two.
Okay.
Right. I wish I could remember. I don't know, but that's like one of the few things I do remember from like the Spider-Man comics and Venom and comics and that nature. And I know Carnage is red because usually like what's the term? Is it symbiotes?
Symbiotes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think most of them usually like merge because like remember like in the first film, obviously Adam hasn't seen it, but like it's really big on like it has to like match the host type thing, and like otherwise like people end up dying and shit like that. I think Carnage is actually like connected to what's the character's name? Cletus, I think. Cletus Cassius or something. I think it's actually connected to his bloodstream, and I think that's why that symbiote is red.
Okay,
and not
gotcha.
like a darker color.
Interesting.
And that's all the knowledge I have on Carnage.
Yeah, we'll see what we end up doing with this movie when it releases, if we want to review it or not. We'll have to see and stay around and see what else is coming out around that time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for trailer talk here and the news. So let's get into Adam Schwartz's completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of August 1st through August 7th. We should get a sound effect for that. We should get sound
That's
effects
list of the week, man.
More
I
sound
look forward
effects.
to this list every
Do you?
week.
I'm glad to hear it. It's well regarded. I think I was talking to Tyler today. I think we should give out like awards. Like if you make the subjective list, you've made it. You know.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
you want to be
worthwhile.
seen as a tastemaker.
Yes.
is
Yes.
what you're
Exactly. Yeah. It's an honor. It's an honor to make the list. To Netflix, 30 Rock, seasons 1 through 7.
Never watched it.
Decent. Don't know how this is coming to Netflix and it's not on Peacock, but
You would think.
yeah, you would definitely think they want to hold on to that. But maybe this is just isn't a big enough show or IP for them to want to keep, and maybe they could make more money selling it. Who knows? We're getting Beowulf of 2007, Robert Zemeckis' animated movie. Catch Me If You
Hey.
Can, 2002, which I haven't seen, but I really want to.
That's the one with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and Leo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really want to.
That's a Spielberg, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
is. I believe it is, yeah. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a classic, of course. Friday Night Lights, seasons 1 through 5. One I've never seen, but I know of. I know it's well regarded as like a really
I
good
never
show.
watched it either, but I've had it recommended to me a couple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, same.
Ty, have you seen it?
I have not, but
Mm.
I'm on the same.
Same
People
boat.
have said it's good.
Well, it's our
Yeah.
chance to watch it here, guys. Season 1 through
Maybe.
5 on Netflix. Also coming, Good Luck Chuck, Inception, Pineapple
Okay.
Express, The Machinist.
Ah,
Yeah, and then I threw this on there because it sounded awesome. It's a 2020 French indie horror film called The Swarm, and it's about a single mother breeding locusts who begin getting a taste for blood.
You know, the
that sounds
last
horrible.
indie French horror film we watched was High Tension, so I have big expectations for this one.
I do not.
And, Adam's got a really good history with it.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounded interesting, and I thought maybe if you guys were looking for a
Yeah.
horror thing to watch, who
No,
knows?
it sounds
I might look into it.
It's-
See
yeah.
the
Netflix-
director
sounds
and stuff
campy.
like that.
Netflix has been
Yeah.
doing a lot of this recently of just like releasing like Spanish and like Italian and French movies
That's like
on
the
the
third.
Netflix.
That's like the third or fourth French indie film I've seen.
But
pop
yeah,
up on
they're
the
like
list in the
all
past,
dubbed
month.
too.
Are
Like,
they dubbed?
A
Oh, okay.
lot of times they are, and then like you could still get the original, obviously audio on there, but like when they'll just automatically be playing, you can see sometimes they're dubbed.
Papa Schwartz has been watching this German show called Dark on Netflix.
I've heard about that.
I've heard, yeah, it looks different. I don't know, like a almost like a sci-fi kind of show. I'm not sure even what's it about, but it's a German show and it's dubbed. And he really
Okay.
likes it. Or I think he might have finished it, but he really liked it. But yeah, they seem to be doing that kind of stuff. I don't really know what's going on there. Also coming, your last thing for Netflix is Vivo, which is the new animated musical adventure from Lin-Manuel Miranda and Sony Animation.
Interesting.
He won't go away.
No, he keeps popping up. Really, what was
Which
he
is fine.
narrating? He was narrating some sort of commercial the other day for something.
He does American Express a lot.
No, it was like for a sports thing.
Oh, really?
I thought it was the ladies tennis thing. I want to say, or like one of the most recent tennis. Is there a big tennis tournament coming up soon?
The Olympics.
Besides that,
Then the U.S. Open.
maybe it was the U.S. Open one. Or
He does.
something like that.
He does a lot of American Express. I think is a sponsor of the U.S. Open.
Oh, okay.
And I think he does. They do ads.
It just felt
for
really
the-
weird.
Okay.
It was weird to hear his voice out of nowhere, like speaking to me from my
Sure.
TV
Okay.
while I was talking about athletics.
Yeah. Ooh, a world record. That's always exciting. Or we have the Olympics on in the background, me and Nathaniel, ladies and gentlemen. And something McLaughlin just set a world record. Isn't that fun?
That is pretty fun.
All right.
Congrats. That's major.
To, what is it, Amazon Prime? Amazon Prime, we have 500 Days of Summer, Apollo 13, Borat, Catch Me If You Can, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2, How to Train Your Dragon, Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, and Jaws the Revenge.
Have you seen anything besides Jaws 1?
I have not. Are any of those worth watching?
No, they're not good, but they're all worth watching.
Ah, interesting recommendation from Nathaniel. Do you think I should check them out?
No, probably not.
Maybe
I mean,
eventually.
it's just if you were just like bored out of your mind
Yeah.
one day and want to throw something on, or like maybe you're out, you got some of the frat over and you want to enjoy an adult beverage and watch
I
something
see.
funny.
Okay.
Maybe pull on Jaws 2 or Jaws 3.
Cool. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. We're getting Machete,
Machete.
Moneyball. Love Moneyball.
It's a great one.
Yeah, it is really good. Mud, Predator, and Predator 2.
Ooh.
Secret Window.
You should see Predator 2 as well.
Both. I haven't seen the first one.
You should watch both of those.
Double
movies.
feature?
Predator 2 is
Yeah.
insane.
Okay.
Not surprising. You haven't.
Oh,
Did we cut out that time? Stand by, listeners. Welcome back, listeners. Thank you for sticking with us here. Even though it was just another split second for you. Wow, these pauses recently, we've been bad about it.
it's all these variants we've been getting. You know.
The timeline is just all over the place. Shrek Forever After. But I don't know if you guys heard me. Secret Window, which I haven't seen.
The Johnny Depp one.
Yeah. Shrek Forever After. Spotlight. The
Great
Legend of
movie.
Zorro. The Wolf of Wall Street. In Water for Elephants.
Solid list.
Yeah, decent list there. To Hulu, we're getting 21, the Kevin Spacey
Okay, yeah.
movie from 2008. 30 Days of Night.
Great movie.
Yeah. That's Blake, you're high on that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
the
one of better
vampire one, right?
Vampire joints.
Maybe we
for
throw
sure.
that on the list here sometime soon. I know you really like that one.
Maybe a Halloween.
Yeah.
October
Yeah.
area.
We also got 30 Minutes or Less, Black Swan, Contagion.
Another great movie.
30 Minutes or Less or Black Swan?
Black Swan.
I haven't seen it. Nathaniel?
It's a good one.
Yeah. Ty, have you seen that?
I don't think so.
All right. Also coming, Contagion and Gulliver's Travels.
Contagion dope.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
that one.
I
It
agree, Ty.
Might hit a
Contagion's
little
good
too close
movie.
to home at this point. Yeah,
Actually,
I
I watched it for the first time like when the pandemic
When the
like
pandemic
first started.
I
Yeah,
watched the first
that's
time.
funny.
I watched
I was gonna
Outbreak.
say now it's kind of is the perfect time to watch it.
Yeah,
No, for sure.
I watched Outbreak when the pandemic started.
I haven't seen either of
Okay.
them, to be honest.
Outbreak is good too.
Outbreak. It's the first half I love, and then it just turns into an action movie. Also coming to Hulu, Mud.
Didn't we just hear about Mud? On another
Yeah,
list?
wasn't that on something else?
That was yeah. Did it come to somewhere else?
Might have been Prime.
Yeah, it did. It came to Prime as well.
Uh-huh.
And Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Hey, Woodstock.
Rounding out the list is Thelma and Louise. 2 HBO Maximum.
Tell me about it.
It's Hitchcock, the 2012 documentary about the filmmaker.
I don't think that's a documentary.
Is it? Or what is it? Oh, it's a biopic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Biopic. Excuse me. Who plays Hitchcock?
Well, I believe in that one it is Hopkins.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. I do remember. You know what?
I
You're
went
right.
to school
Yeah,
with
I
a Johnny
remember.
Hopkins.
There's more power, Johnny Hopkins. Thank you, Step Brothers.
Also coming to HBO is Hudson Hawk, the 91 action film. I know this because one of the podcasts I listen to, the dude, he's like in his 40s, but he like jokes around that he just loves this movie because of how dumb it is.
I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, he references it all the time in one of the and it's one of the podcasts I listen to, like the podcast groups that I listen to a lot, and he references it in so many shows a lot of the time. So it's just like one that popped up, and of course it made the subjective list because it's my subjective.
What
list.
is your subjective list?
Exactly. So maybe I'll check that out so I can finally get his references. Also coming to HBO Max, Inception again, Malcolm X, one I need to check out. Do you like that one, Nathaniel?
Haven't
how's
seen
that
it.
you haven't seen it? Okay.
No, I have not.
Blake, Ty, have either of you guys seen that?
No.
Really? Okay. Blake?
Nope.
Oh.
I have not. We're talking about Malcolm X, right?
Malcolm X, the Spike movie.
No. Yeah, I know that's got Denzel in it, but
Yep.
I haven't seen the movie.
That's one I've wanted to get around to for a little bit.
Yeah.
Ever since my
Only
first
seen
class
pieces.
started to talk.
Yeah. Early Denzel. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm sure
very
it's
early
good work.
Denzel.
Yeah.
We're also getting Requiem for a Dream. Watch that
Ah.
and then watch a review.
I've never
Episode
heard
around
that.
30, I want to say.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere
Yeah.
around there. You never heard of it?
No.
Oh, that's
Is it weird?
awkward. In some ways. We're also getting Scary Movie.
Okay.
quite the shift. The Fugitive, 93, Harrison Ford.
Uh-huh.
The Great Gatsby, both the 74 and the 2013 versions.
Oh, all right.
So
Fair
maybe you
enough.
can do a little compare and contrast double
You
feature
could
there.
do a double feature.
Yeah,
Back
my,
to back.
my favorite book of all time.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't remember you said that.
Yeah. We're also getting the Shawshank Redemption, one I have not seen.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard great things.
One to read for you, too.
Is that? Oh yeah, that's
That's Stephen King.
Stephen King. Yeah. Getting Woodstock director's cut. This is a documentary about the '94 Woodstock, I believe it is.
That's
No,
Is it
I
made
think-
in '94? Is either made in
I
'94?
think this
or
is the
about 94?
64 one.
Is it about '64?
Correct. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
made
it's
in
the
94?
footage from.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's coming to HBO Max if you want to check that out. And then Obama in Pursuit of a More Perfect Union. It's a documentary premiere if you are looking for that. I will bring this up again. Of course, it's just a subjective list, but I'm reading his memoir still. I haven't been reading as much as I wanted to this summer just because I've been pretty busy, but I've been reading a little bit, trying to get more through it recently. And so I saw that. I was like, oh, cool. Might as well. He's turning 60 soon.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And he was, what, like 48 when he was elected? Something like that,
I
47?
couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Man, time flies. And then rounding out the HBO Max list is Suicide Squad. Film premiere. The new one.
Oh, it's coming to HBO Max.
Yeah, straight to streaming. They made that commitment, and they're sticking to it. There's no
That is crazy.
getting out of it. So if you don't go to theaters to see that next week, which is going to be our review, but a sizzle.
I have a feeling that this might be the first one that I see in theaters and then come home and watch again on HBO
Interesting.
Max.
What do you have any reasoning for that?
I just think I'm gonna like this one.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna like this movie.
High expectations.
All right.
And
And then-
let me get excited about one thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, and then to Disney Plus. I'll try to get through this quick here. Marvel Studios Legends, they're doing another few episodes on Peggy Carter, the Avengers Initiative, the Ravengers from Guardians, kind of preparing for the what
For
if
the what if stuff.
What if stuff. Yeah, so maybe some refreshers on some characters you may have forgotten there. Star Wars Bad Batch episode 15, Mrs. Doubtfire, and then we talked a few weeks ago about all the shark stuff coming. There's apparently more shark stuff coming. It's killer shark versus killer whale.
Huh.
Researchers in New Zealand dive with great white sharks in an attempt to discover if they are being hunted and eaten by killer whales.
Well, they are scientists.
The jig is up.
The jig
We got Big
is,
Cat Blake on it, so
Big Orca Blake.
go ahead and just send that one to your journals.
Right. According to some guy on YouTube, we already have the answers, and YouTube has all the answers, so we know that's accurate.
YouTube
right?
has all
Anything
the
we find on
answers.
the internet is 100,000% the truth.
As
As
we
we all
know,
know.
there is no nuance on the internet.
Of course.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get into what we're watching here, fellas. I'm going to kick it over to Tyler Vidalis to kick it off.
Tyler, what you been watching?
You guys want to know what I've been watching?
Just asked.
Well, for one, the Hungarian Grand Prix,
Hey, the Hungaro Ring.
and I was not a happy camper.
No, Max Verstappen only getting you 1 point.
Well, time out. You're making it sound like he's just a bad driver.
No, I know what happened. There was that big accident, knocked out 5 drivers in the
I was
first turn.
pissed.
Now he kept driving, obviously.
He did.
Yeah,
So he
with
just got knocked to
half
the-
a car.
It was that bad.
Oh, dude, it was terrible. You got to remember, anything that
Those cars are
slightly
so
goes
fragile.
wrong
Those
on
cars
one of
are
those
so
cars is a
fragile.
big problem.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you have medium damage, you
Yeah.
retire. Retire.
Well,
the
he didn't
car.
retire. He powered through, so at least he got 8 point.
Yeah, I was upset, but either way, he's Max, and he somehow
He'll
held that car
rebound, he'll
together
rebound.
to finish a race and not break
he'll
out,
rebound,
so.
but it just Lewis Hamilton. I don't think will have a bad race. He
We'll
just seems
see.
to, yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
It
have to
seems to
see.
be
Maybe he
pure
just
chaos this year, in my opinion.
maybe he has a retirement. Maybe something unlucky happens to him. But he got a lot of ground on Max this week. And maybe it's only one race he has to make up for. But he made up a lot of ground there. I was not able to watch this race live. I did catch the highlights though. Saw my boy Esteban Ocon taking home the dub.
I was going to ask you about that. Is that still your guy?
He's still one of my favorites. Yeah, he's still up there for one of my favorites, and I definitely want to keep rooting for him. And I like the Renault team. They're not like my favorite team, but I do like rooting for them as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I like Cyril. I feel bad that his team isn't better.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. What else you watching, Ty? Or if you want to talk more about that race, you can.
No, I'm good. I'm over it. We got a 4-week break, which kind of sucks, but I'll deal.
Yeah, right when I finish the freaking series is when they go on a break.
Yeah. I did some Breaking Bad with Leah.
Where you guys at on that?
Season 4, episode 3.
All right, closing in.
Yeah. Bad Batch. Still good. Still gonna have to binge it.
Yeah, you'll have to keep us posted on that. So you still like it, you just don't love it,
Yeah.
and you think you'll probably love it once you binge.
I'm hoping.
You're hoping. Okay. Is there anything else
Twilight.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Is there anything else going wrong for you on that show? Or is it still the fact that you just don't think it's hitting because it's not how you prefer to consume that show?
I think it's just the overall preferred
Still okay.
method of watch.
Okay.
So, Twilight Breaking Bad or Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Twilight Breaking Bad.
Twilight Breaking Bad.
The
Yeah.
crossover of the century.
The Star Trek.
The 2009 one?
2009.
Correct.
Okay. Love that one.
The first of the new.
Yeah. Okay. That one's really good.
Yeah, I just once they redid those, I just was a big fan.
Yeah, they're really good, man.
That was kind
Yeah,
of one
I
of
like
the
them a
big
lot.
kickoffs for the kind of reboot trend, I feel like.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, they did a great job.
They did a great job of modernizing those. for
Yeah, no,
sure.
they're
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams, not so hot on the Star Wars, but really good on those.
Facts.
Yeah.
I had a one of Leah's friends who we went to high school with. She moved out to Arizona, but she was in town this weekend, so
Shout
we
out,
were
Izzy.
housing.
Okay.
So we ended up watching 2 movies while she was here. One of them is it was a girls' night, so I just it was a great time for us, and just the girls hanging out. So I was very very happy.
Just them gals plus Ty.
No, I didn't get my nails done, but I got their nails done. We had some popcorn. It was a good time.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx.
So, so we got to a movie called Greenland.
Okay. That's the what's his face?
Jerry Butler.
Gerard Butler. Yeah. How was that?
So,
I heard it wasn't
It's
as
not
bad
bad.
as. Yeah, I heard it wasn't as bad as it kind of looked.
From what I've heard, it's supposed to be
And
pretty
it got
decent.
it got a sequel, I think.
Yeah, they were just talking about it.
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, run it, Gerard Butler. Let's go.
You liked it, yeah.
I mean, if you're into natural disaster movies and stuff like that, then by all means go watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other one we got to is called Run.
I haven't heard of. Wait, I feel like I have
Yeah,
heard
I'm
of
not
this one.
familiar with that.
Wait, what's this about?
It is basically this girl who's confined to a wheelchair, and she's had some pretty bad medical issues kind of throughout her life since she was born, and her mom basically takes care of her. And sooner or later throughout the story, I really don't want to put spoilers in there.
Yeah. Say as much as you feel comfortable saying. Is this a documentary or is this like a movie? Like a drama?
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's like yeah,
Okay.
it's a drama,
Okay.
tension. But yeah, essentially you find out that her mom has been kind of lying to her about some rather important stuff.
Okay.
So it's definitely, it kept me on the edge of my seat. I actually really liked it. I was a pretty big fan. It definitely does a really good job at holding a lot of that tension. So yeah, I was a really big fan.
Sure. Cool.
Oh,
Anything else, or are you ready to popcorn?
No, I think I'm good for some popcorn. Who wants some popcorn?
Whoever you want, man.
You know what, Adam? You go.
Hey. All right, I'll go.
Have some
list is-
popcorn.
Yeah, I'll have some popcorn. My list is actually a little long. I got to a lot of stuff this week.
Tell us about it.
I'll kick it off with I finished Drive to Survive, and Jesus Christ, do I want more? Just give me more. I'm so mad that I didn't find the show sooner because I wish I had been watching since like the first season launch, and then I've been just consuming F1 for the past 3 years. But this show is incredible. It's easily climbed to one of my favorite shows of all time, like just in general. I've talked about it before, just the drivers, how they make you care for every single one of them and every single team, and there's so much passion and emotion to every single race, and they clearly convey that every single episode. Like there was not a bad episode in that show.
No, I agree.
In all 3 seasons, there's not a single episode where I was not glued to the TV, wanting like on the edge of my seat, and even that 3rd season, there were some moments where I like teared up a little bit when the Grosjean crash. That was like, oh my god,
super scary.
Yeah, because I've mentioned before, I like the Haas team. I'm kind of rooting for them as my underdog team, because I love Gunter, and I liked both Grosjean and Magnussen. And then that fucking episode was scary, and it definitely got you. And then they have that great beat where it's like, wow, this all happened, and then everyone has to get back in their car and race.
Yeah,
like, oh my god. But this show's incredible. I'm definitely an F1 fan now, and I hope I stick with it because I do like this sport a lot, and I just wish that I had known about it sooner. I at least cared about it sooner. Yeah. I should say. If you have not watched the show, do yourself a favor and watch this, or at least give it a shot. Watch the first 3 episodes, please, because I think that it's such a good show. It's one that can resonate with so many people.
Yeah, it's just very accessible.
Yeah, and even if you don't watch F1 afterwards, just watching this as a show is still very entertaining.
I think so too.
Yeah, you don't have to become a fan to enjoy. You don't have to be a fan or become a fan to enjoy this. So definitely very consumable. Blake, have we sold you on this at all? Are you thinking about checking it out?
A little bit, only because I also see a handful of people online talk about it. So I know Nathaniel brought up JJ Watt, tweeted about it.
Okay.
Somebody else I follow, I can't think of who it is. It's another football player though, but I know he was kind of posting it about it. I listen to his podcast.
I got you.
I mean, there's just a lot of people who have been sold on this and gotten
man.
into Formula One racing.
I think you got to give it a shot. I mean, I know you're trying to work on the wire,
and I don't mind cars.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of into some of that stuff. So,
yeah, because of the 4 of us, I feel like I know the least about cars and racing. I feel like Blake, when we talked about we did the Fast and Furious stuff, you were like, you comprehending what Tyler and Blake were. Or Nathaniel and Blake were talking. Right. Jesus Christ, Nathaniel and Tyler were talking about.
yeah, I got you.
And I was just a little lost, and so you would still, I think, enjoy this show, and it's just, I mean, you like sports obviously, and this is just a good sport, and it's a great sport show
for sure.
So yeah, I think you'd like it. At least I would recommend giving it a shot if you can.
Cool.
Yeah.
What else you get to?
We saw Old last night.
My
girlfriend, yeah, she came and visited.
I want to check that out.
How is it briefly? Because I don't even know if I'll check it out, so you can give me like your real feelings on it.
If you want to check it out, I would say you guys have A-list, so it wouldn't affect you. I was about to say save your money, wait until you can maybe watch this on a streaming service. But if you guys have A-list, so it wouldn't affect you guys. And if you want to go see,
I heard it gets in a pretty good body horror.
Yes, it does. Yeah, yes, it does. There's some good parts there. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's enough where you're like, wow, okay. And I wasn't expecting it either. So. Yeah, but it's not anything special, you know. I don't want to spoil anything because M. Night Shyamalan, he has this thing where he tries to do twists and stuff. But we were joking about it last week. It really just is a beach that makes you old.
Cool.
So, and I don't want to say more than that. I won't say any more than that. But that is like, there's not a lot more to it than that.
Okay.
Than I was hoping there would be, where it would be like, oh, something way out of this, but. Overall, the acting's pretty good. I would say that's probably one of the highlights for me. The directing is honestly nothing special. He goes for a lot of interesting shots, but like it felt like a lot of those shots were just like for the sake of having those shots.
Okay.
So some of them, not all of them. There were some good ones, but he's a fine director from what I've seen of his. I haven't seen a lot, to be honest, but I don't think I think his storytelling in the thrillers that are good, the thrillers that I've seen, are better than anything else he can kind of do.
Okay.
So if you want to go see it, if you think if you watch the trailer and you're like, I really want to go see this, sure. But if you're anything below like, I really want to see this, I think just wait. I think it's not necessarily like a run to the movie theater to see this. So
all right, fair enough.
Let's move on here to the Naomi Osaka drama series, that the 3-episode limited series that came
was
to
it a
Netflix.
series?
Yes.
Yeah, how was that, dude?
As a tennis fan, as a Naomi Osaka fan, she's someone I've been rooting for ever since she beat Serena because I don't like Serena. I liked it, but this was like I had finished season 3 of Drive to Survive, and like coming off of that high, it was just like I don't know if it was just that's what missed for me.
Oh, a little basic by the
numbers. it just felt a little run of the mill, and I was thinking about it a lot, and as I was watching this, I was like kind of piecing together. Tennis can do a Drive to Survive series. Like, I don't know if they, like, production-wise can, because I know the whole thing where you said Netflix has probably got some unfettered access to F1, and that's how they're able to get such good interviews. And tennis is complete opposite of that, where rather than 10 teams, you have every player's individual. They are just associated to the tour. And if the tour was able to get them access to that somehow, that's what they'd have to do, and I think they could do it. But the pieces for a Drive to Survive tennis series are in this. Mm-hmm. It's just that's not what this is.
Sure.
It is exclusively a look at her and her life, and it's her tennis career, yes, but it's like you also get a lot of behind the scenes of what it's like to blow up into such stardom in less than a year, like less than 6 months. She went from not necessarily unknown, but like only known in the tennis world to international star.
Right.
And so it's kind of getting a little bit look into that, and she's someone who is complete opposite of an international star. Doesn't like the spotlight. She's such an introvert. So it's like an interesting position for her to be in, and it's one she doesn't seem to love. Mm-hmm. But the series, it's a little slow at points, and tennis is not a slow sport. Like if you made this right, it's not a slow sport. But they do a lot of shots where it's her just hitting at practice, hitting for warm-ups.
Really? Okay.
And hitting for like 30-second stretches without any commentary, really, just music. It's very weird, and I think it's just they didn't get enough as much footage as maybe they wanted to, but they need more. I need more what they get in F1, where it's dialogue between the coach and Naomi, or dialogue.
So the structure wasn't quite up to.
Yeah, and I just don't think that's what they're going for. I'm comparing it to Drive Survive because that's what I have in recent memory, and that's what I want for tennis. Mm-hmm. The pieces are there. It's just that's not what this is.
Okay.
The pieces are there, though. I think they could do something where tennis is structured where you have 4 majors every year, Aussie Open to French Open to Wimbledon to the U.S. Open. And then there's tournaments on each type of the courts. They play tournaments for the months in between the majors. So Aussie Open's concrete, like the just regular concrete courts that you're used to. Like if you go to like a park, that's what they play on.
Okay.
French Open
right?
is clay, and then Wimbledon's grass, and then U.S. Open is concrete again. And so they play on tournaments on those type of courts going into the tournaments because it changes the pace of the ball, it changes how you play, how you have to think about playing. And I think they could focus every season maybe on 4, 5, 6 of the top players, maybe in both women's and men's, and then just follow them, or maybe they focus on a few each major. I don't know. There's structure there. They can do it. I know they can, and I think the sport really needs it.
Sign it up, send it out, pitch it up.
I really hope so. I really hope something comes.
Netflix, we know we're listening.
Yeah, but as far as the Naomi series go, it was good. I think I want people to watch this because I want more people to get into tennis. I think it's such an underrated sport, and I was talking about this over the weekend with some family that we were at a little trip, and it is a very underrated sport, I think, and more people. It's very entertaining when you understand. It's hard because you have to have kind of an appreciation for how hard it is to do what they're doing. It doesn't look like it on TV because they're all so good. Mm-hmm. But if you put any, like, again, how we were talking earlier about putting people in, like a random person in the Olympics to like compare against.
You need to control.
If you put any person, like you put a D1 college player in against Djokovic or Federer, and they're gonna make them look silly. Mm-hmm. Like it's just so hard to play at that level. And
Sure.
It's, for me, I can appreciate how good they are because I played and I know how hard that game is. I just don't think it's not as popular in the U.S. and not a lot of people know, and so people don't have that attachment to it. Where like people will watch baseball or football because they played it when they were younger. They know how hard it is to play that sport. They like that sport. Because tennis has died down, where not as many people play it as when they're younger. It just not as many people appreciate it when they're older, and that can change. With a series like Drive to Survive, something new, something fresh, they got to keep it. They're not keeping it fresh enough, I think, in mainstream, especially in the U.S. This series specifically, I want people to watch it because it does give you a great look at Naomi Osaka. It'll give you a little bit more of like a look into tennis and what goes into that. The best parts about this for me was she has some moments where she just records on her selfie camera when she's alone, and one of them's after she gets knocked out. She won the U.S. Open in 2018. She gets knocked out in the third or fourth round in 2019 when she was trying to defend her title, and it broke her, and she was like really, really upset about it. And like it's just selfie cam footage of like her walking down the street, just ranting to the camera in a way that I've never seen her do before, like talk candidly. In interviews she's always been shy, but she was just like, it's just her alone, and she's like, I'm walking the streets of New York, probably a little dangerous, but like I can't be alone and stay asleep because I know I won't be able to sleep, so I'm just gonna walk. Like I don't know how to handle today. I don't know how to process that. And like very interesting moments like that where you really get into her psyche, and it's very interesting because she's such a reserved person that even in interviews it's hard for her to open up sometimes, but then because she's alone and it's just her and her camera, she does, and like she now has an audience to kind of express that. And those were cool moments for sure, but a lot of this was just kind of weird mundane stuff and awkward B-roll, and so it's a little clunky. I definitely recommend, again, Blake, you're into sports and I think you would like this, and I want people to check it out so tennis can grow for sure, but I was not overly impressed with this.
Okay.
So I just talked a lot. Let's I'm going to try to get through these last pieces of my what we're watching list here. I ended up watching the Fantastic Fun Guy documentary.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that Paul Stamets guy that I mentioned last week, he's in it. He's a big part of it. He's kind of one of the main guys that they talk to. But that was fun. I learned that they are somewhere in between like plant and vegetable.
Yeah, because we were making the joke about if they were
alive or not. Yeah, they are somewhat alive. I think that's what they say, is they're in between plant and vegetable.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, so...
a back row fact.
Yeah, there you go. But, that was fun. I talked about Fun Guy are so interesting, and this just talked a little bit more about what I know. I didn't learn a ton more. There was some interesting stuff in there, but I still liked it. Great visual. It was actually 4K Dolby Vision.
Nice.
Yeah, so good looking documentary too. And Nathaniel, I mean, if you're interested or if anyone else is interested, this is definitely a good watch. Good fun watch.
We'll see. We'll have to check it out.
Yeah, only like an hour or so, maybe like an hour 20. Narrated by Brie Larson. So.
Oh, that's right. I do remember saying that.
Yeah, not too bad at all. For
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then I also watched a sort of it was a weird documentary. It came up on the new streaming a few weeks ago or a few months ago. It's the glitch in the Matrix. It's about if we're living in a simulation.
Oh, okay.
This made me less. This made me think we're living in a simulation less than I did before I went into it. So it
did the opposite of its intended effect.
It was not. I thought it would be like experts talking about like probability of or explaining why it's possible and all that stuff. It's literally just like 3 or 4 interviews from people who are like just convinced that they are living in a simulation with like little to no evidence.
Is it like there was a black cat outside and then today there was also a black cat, so we're in a simulation, man?
Basically. It was just dumb stories like that. Like one guy was like, well, I grew up in a rural town and then I lived on a farm and I didn't see people very often. And I kind of just thought, well, maybe that's because it's a simulation and there's not enough processing power for people to do that. I'm like, just because you lived in a rural town, like, dude, context matters, man. And he was like,
I don't know, man. That checks out.
Oh my God.
That seems pretty compelling.
And then he was like, and then when I'd go on trips to big cities, like I would think, this drive is just loading time. Like they're just getting the city ready for me to be there. But then my dad, he always had a tight schedule we would have to go to, and it was like, I don't think the simulation wants me to be there for long or something like that. I was like, this is so stupid.
This sounds like this guy needs some help.
There was one interviewer that was better than the rest, where he was like, he was also a little weird, but he was like. They were all kind of weirdos.
I'm just picturing the guy from Ancient Aliens with his hands up and his crazy hair.
That's basically it. But the weird thing that they did was to protect these guys' identities. They did like 3D mapping of different, like.
So it looked like something out of The Masked Singer or something like that.
Kinda, yes. That's a great way to put it. But it was like 3D images of them. It was weird. But then one of the guys. This was the only good piece of like evidence that they thought it was that these people kind of presented, but one of the guys was like,
who are they protecting there?
I don't know.
From the simulation lords?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
But he was like, I started tracking all the events in my life, and I would notice like every third day something with my family would pop up. Every fourth day, something with my career, stuff like that. And he's like, over 2 years, I tracked this stuff, and I just kept seeing the same trends over and over again. That was the only one where I was like, okay, that's kind of weird and cool, but all the other ones were just like stupid, and I was like, this is just making me sad.
All right, fair enough.
So I don't know if that's really necessarily worth checking out unless you really want to.
Gun to your head, gun to your balls. Are you recommending or not recommending?
No, I'm not recommending. So that's that quick answer there. And then I've been watching the Olympics, but I've been talking a lot. I don't really want to talk about that. It's been fun to watch. I like watching the Olympics. Man, I did not mean to talk as long as I did. Popcorn, Blake.
No, it's all good, man. It happens. Yeah, so my list, been chugging to the wire still. Pretty interested in that. But
How close are you to finishing that
self-explanatory.
or that out?
I'm in season 3 now. I think there's 5 seasons. So like
All right,
now
coming
it has
along.
a lot more to do with like the court system and
Okay.
kind of how like things can be corrupt on that end. So
Things could be
I think
corrupt
season
in the
3
court
is-
system?
is-
Weird.
No way.
yeah, I think season 3 is like notoriously held as probably like the worst season, but
Okay.
it's still a phenomenal
Yeah,
show.
it's
You
so
know what
good.
I mean? So
Yeah, I
whatever
gotcha.
that means.
The worst of like a very good show is still very good.
Right.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I got to 2 films. I got to the Child's Play remake of 2019
Okay.
with Aubrey Plaza and David Tyree Henry.
How is that?
That movie fucking blows, but I like Aubrey Plaza, so that's kind of why or not David Tyree Henry, excuse me, Brian Tyree Henry. Definitely butchered his name. But yeah, that movie, it's not that good. I actually don't mind the original Child's Plays as well.
Okay.
There's like a lot of nostalgia, and it's a big nostalgia kick to me. But yeah, this new one's just, I don't know, man. It's just not really it to me. So, I don't know. They try to make it modern, right? So obviously, like,
it's like an
dogs and
Alexa or
artifacts are
something
just
like
not
that,
as
right?
big. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like that stuff just fits so much better, like back in like 1982 or
Sure.
whatever it was. You know what I mean? Opposed to now. So it's cool. A few cool kills, but I would definitely pass on that. Second to that, I end up getting to Freaky.
Oh
which
yeah,
is
I've been wanting
Vince
to check that
Vaughn
out.
And Catherine Newton. Yeah. And so that's kind of like a body swap horror. That's from Christopher Landon.
Yeah, and I think he's the same guy that did the Happy Death Days, right?
Yeah. He did the second one. The
Okay.
second one, not the first one. Dude, I love that movie. That movie's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, man. I think that's very, as I've kind of used the term before, very horror entry friendly. You know,
Sure.
Where it's like a horror comedy, very similar to what's the film? The lady was just in Snake Eyes. I can't think of her name. The blonde lady.
Oh, Ready or Not.
Yeah, very kind of similar to like type of horror. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
for
So,
sure,
okay,
yeah.
like you can sit down and watch this like with a group of people and have it on in a setting. Vince Vaughn is funny as we all know. So brief breakdown of that one. It's a body swap. It plays a serial killer. He then kills a teenage girl. They then body swap. So in the film, Vince Vaughn is playing himself, but he's playing like a teenage girl. And they're trying to like hunt down this killer and like solve a mystery. But it's super good. It's funny. Some good kills. Good representation, right? So like, I mean, there's different people. There's people of different diversities. There's people of different sexualities. So yeah, it's everything you can want in a modern horror movie. So I mean, I would definitely watch that. That's super fun.
Where did you find that?
HBO Max.
Okay.
HBO Max, I believe. And that came out 2020. So it didn't really get that big of a release when it should have. And I think if it did get a bigger release, just because I kind of found it while everybody's saying some good things about it.
Sure.
I think it would have been like a home run if this thing would have came out like in 2018 or something. You know?
Gotcha.
So
Cool.
Yeah, shout out that. And then I got to The Green Knight. So we'll talk about that. I'll have a lot of thoughts on that. A pretty interesting film. So we'll keep it pushing. What
Yeah,
about you, Nathaniel?
Nathaniel, you want to finish us off here?
Yeah, I actually have a pretty short list this week, I want to say. I finished off The Newsroom actually today.
Okay. How'd you like that?
Yeah, it was really good.
Ended up good?
Yeah, it was a good time. Kind of cool to see, obviously, the kind of modern take, almost it seems, on like the journalism movie and what that kind of entails, and interesting to see kind of its setting and also when it was made and what they're choosing to focus on, too, because that kind of like I guess tells you what the the creators or the story itself thinks is important.
Mm-hmm.
And then also to kind of view that from the lens of 2021 and kind of like what has changed and what was focused on then and what turned out to be a big deal and what didn't and everything. So definitely worth a watch, I would say. I would be interested to see like someone like you, Adam, how you would come into it nowadays and like what your thoughts on it would be.
Because when was this made?
It's set in 2010, 11, and 12,
Okay.
I want to say. But it came out in 2012 to 2014. So pretty close to like right after when it's set and everything. So, but yeah, definitely a cool one worth checking out overall. I also got to a anime series called Fooly Cooly. Have you ever heard of that?
I've not.
Tyler, have you heard of Fooly Cooly?
Nope.
So it's spelled FLCL. I'm just assuming Blake has not heard of it.
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's spelled FLCL. It's about a boy who's like living in a town, and a girl shows up who's kind of like, he's like 12, 13. She shows up and she's like 19, 20, and she like moves into his house as like his babysitter / house sitter kind of thing. But it turns out she may be an alien. And she can like is battling space monsters by pulling guitars out of this kid's head. It's wild, but it's very like came out in the 90s. It's from the same studio that did Evangelion. And it's like very
But
like
not same creator?
not the same creator, no. But the same animation studio and everything. It's only 6 episodes. It's very like the only thing I can really describe it as is like MTV, like 90s, almost like Gonzo. I don't know. Yeah, it's just very interesting. But I thought it was cool overall. Had a interesting look to it and an interesting aesthetic. Was a good time. Other than that, I've been reading a lot. I've also been watching a lot of Haikyuu, which is the volleyball anime that's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's really fun. It's a good show. I like it. That's the first kind of like sports anime I've done, I guess, besides if you count Initial D. But what's interesting about it is I think it's whereas like your typical kind of Dragon Ball Zs or whatever, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go train, but I'm going to train 9 million times and get to, do 1,000 push-ups and stuff that no people could ever do. Whereas like this one, it's very much more realistic stakes. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to go train, but I'm going to do 100 serves or something like that so that I can actually get better at this and it doesn't feel as kind of out there. So, but yeah, really other than that, it was really just the Green Knight this week for me. So
cool. Well then, let's go ahead and talk about it. Welcome listeners
Let's get into it.
to the main review segment here at Back Row Banter. Nathaniel, if the listeners knew, or maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how our review segment works?
Yeah, so if you're new or maybe you have just forgotten, the way the review segment works here at Back Row Banter is it's split into 2 different segments. There's the non-spoiler section and there's a spoiler section. Pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we're going to go over the movie itself, what year it came out, who made it, everything you need to know, and ending in the IMDb summary. At that point, we'll kind of all talk about our initial impressions and decide if we would recommend this film. Has to be a yes or no. From then on, it's going to be all spoilers all the time. If you do not want to have anything spoiled for you, do not go past that point. But if you don't, or if you do take that exit, come back in later for when we'll see where this movie ranks on our Entropy list, and which is our big list of everything that we watch for the podcast rank. God, I really lost that at the end there. I felt so good about all of that, and then just fell flat on my face. Adam,
It's all good.
Introduce this movie for us.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is The Green Knight, released in the year 2021. Run time of 2 hours and 10 minutes. A little long, in my opinion, but it felt long, but at the same time, I wanted more.
Okay.
I don't know how. I don't know how to like equate that in my mind, but that's how I kind of felt. R rating, of course, and directed and written by David Lowery, who I haven't been familiar with much of his past work. I know he's been kind of notorious for like lower budget films or kind of more indie projects, sort of. And me and Nathaniel were looking at his IMDb beforehand. He seems to be doing a lot of editing on top of directing, like he does a lot of editing in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But he wrote and directed this one, and he's doing the new Peter Pan movie that is coming out soon, Peter and Wendy or something like that. So he'll be doing that.
Is that affiliated with Disney? Do you know?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay. So I know he did the update of the Pete's Dragon, so that would maybe talk about their first relationship.
Sure. Starring Dev Patel as Gawain, Alicia Vikander, she plays 2 characters. I don't know the second one's name. The first one is Essel. And then Joel Edgerton, Sarita Choudhury. And
that's
then
Chowdhury.
There you go. Sorry. And then Sean Harris and Kate Dickey were the last 2 that I kind of recognized. Anybody I'm missing here, Nathaniel?
Ralph Ineson plays the Green Knight himself.
Yeah. Okay.
And our friend Erin Kellyman, who you've seen she was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right. She was the... okay, I don't want to see her character. But, yeah, she was there for a little bit. The IMDb summary reads as follows. A fantasy retelling of the medieval story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Well, if you don't know the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, that's not a very good IMDb summary
This
here.
is true.
So let me fill in the gaps here. Gawain, he's the nephew of one King Arthur, the king of the Knights of the Round Table.
Yes.
He is a little downtrodden. He doesn't have much of a path in life, it seems, at the beginning of this film. And but he's set to inherit the throne.
He doesn't have very many stories of his own.
Correct.
Any tales, any experience.
And he's of knightly age, yet he has not had any quests or adventures or anything to prove his worth, really. And he doesn't seem to really be motivated to do so from kind of the idea we get in the beginning.
He's very complacent.
Yeah, he's very complacent with where he's at, and doesn't seem to have any more ambitions.
When lo and behold, an opportunity should present itself.
On King Arthur's Christmas Eve feast, the Green Knight marches in, lays down a challenge,
a Christmas game,
a challenge for one of the knights, and before anyone else can accept, he does. He jumps up to accept the challenge, anxious for some glory, and it's about his quest and what that challenge brings him, and in his quest to gain some honor and glory and become a knight, and where that kind of takes him. Good. Anything else we want to add there?
I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, that's a non-spoiler. Yeah, that's probably the non-spoiler kind of synopsis there. Man, I love this movie.
Dude,
Really fucking love this movie. You like it too, Blake? Because I was watching this, I was like, Blake is either going to fucking love this or fucking hate this. I don't really know.
I love that movie, dude.
You like this movie a lot. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Now, Nathaniel, you're giving me mixed signals here, I think.
I think I'm positive overall, but I'm not like in love with this movie.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a movie I need to definitely watch more than once.
Yes, I was thinking this
for sure.
Kind of seen on it. Now I have read Gawain and the Green Knight, the original thing. I read it in college.
Okay.
For part of my English degree.
Of course, makes sense.
So I don't remember all of it off the top of my head because it was just one of the books in one of my lecture classes.
Sure.
But I know
no one reads those.
Yeah, exactly. But I can tell you this one, there are some things that they've changed, but it hasn't changed too much overall. So I felt like I was a little bit... I felt like I knew a little bit more of where it was going and everything, obviously, with that. So I wonder if that might have on it. Yeah, like I said, overall I'm positive. I'm just not maybe as in love with it out the gate as it feels like maybe you and Blake are.
Okay, and I think that's kind of understandable. I'll be up front here. I felt like I got a lot of this movie, but there's some stuff that was missing. So I did look up kind of like a little bit of an explained one, and they also covered.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they also covered like the differences between what happens in the original poem / story and what they've changed. And I'm not, from what I saw, none of the changes really bother me that much.
No, yeah, it's nothing crazy.
So it's nothing crazy. It seems like it's stayed pretty true, which is good. The best part for me, the artistry of it all, just between the directing, the shot choice, and then the music too, man. That fucking soundtrack was awesome. That was
the
soundtrack was
Yeah.
probably one of the highlights for me.
Yeah.
Tyler,
Soundtrack.
where are you coming?
Go ahead.
in? Yeah, I want to hear Tyler's initial thoughts. Sorry, Blake.
We can come back to that.
Terrible. No, I'm just kidding. It was really good. I think I'm with Nathaniel on this. I'm not like completely in love. I definitely
Okay.
want to do a rewatch
Yeah.
before I make like a full blown verdict. There's obviously a lot to digest here. So yeah, overall there's really, really good points. You can talk about the overall dialogue. You can talk about the overall acting. It's shot beautifully.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, I mean, overall, I'm a recommend.
Cool. Blake, what were you gonna say before we headed over to Ty?
Yeah, I know you kind of mentioned like the soundtrack, the score. As Ty said, it's shot beautifully. The set pieces and everything. It's so good. The dialogue they have with each other. It reminds me so much of like watching, like a timepiece of watching like The Witch or The Lighthouse, where like you can tell it's an authentic timepiece. Like for example, we just shitted on 1666 Fear Street. Right,
Yeah,
just for
yeah,
the
a little
dialogue,
bit,
like
yeah.
not being there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we expected that for a movie of that nature, right?
Absolutely.
But then when you get something of this caliber and you get like an accurate timepiece and like the dialogue is spot on and like they're saying things and you're kind of like, I don't really know what that means, but you can have context
But I
clues
get the
throughout the
gist.
conversation.
You get the gist. Yeah.
Right, right.
I love a subtitles viewing of this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I agree with you
that's a
on that, man.
necessity.
But yeah, those are kind of my brief thoughts on it, dude. I love this movie. I was sold. Probably about a quarter way in, 3/4 way, pretty much basically when the Green Knight walked in, I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
like really interesting.
Yeah.
And like just his movements and the sound with his movements.
Yeah, the sound mixing too.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, there's so much put into this movie.
Yeah.
And I think the budget on this one, Nathaniel usually looks that stuff up. I think I looked it up. I thought it was like 15.
Yep, that's what I
million
saw as well.
or some shit like that,
About
$12 million.
15.
Way
15 to
less than
17.
Snake Eyes.
Way less than Snake
And that's
Eyes.
what it put me. That's what put it in perspective to me. I remember Nathaniel saying Snake Eyes was $80 million, and then I was just like, "Well, what the fuck did they spend the remaining? What is that, 50 odd some million dollars?
Who
on?
knows, man?
Because this movie looks
Fucking knows.
This movie looks
1 billion
amazing
times better than
for
Snake
$15
Eyes.
million. Now that being said,
Yeah.
obviously they had to spend, I assume, a lot on the front end with like, what's Camelot being. They probably had to spend a lot on that and making that look nice in the beginning and
Yeah,
the
for
end
sure.
and everything, and also the costumes. But for the most part, a lot of this movie does take place in like
A
just the
forest.
landscape, the landscape,
Yeah.
the wilderness, and throughout. I
Right.
think they shot an island, which was not shocked to find out at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand how they probably worked within that budget as far as because they didn't have to put as much in the set through
Right.
through the meat of the movie. They didn't have to put as much
right,
into the set,
right.
but
Not a ton of
the-
CGI.
yeah, and but the detail they did put in was great, and
Yeah.
they put in just enough for me to make me believe it, and they didn't need to put much more in. If it was any less, I'd be like, okay, this is kind of a little iffy, but they put in a lot, and it really shows. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised they made it for such little money.
Yeah, I
dude.
think. Oh, sorry, Blake. I didn't mean to step on your toes there.
No, that's it. I was just saying, yeah, dude. I mean, you guys are all right in that aspect, and those things just kind of just pushed it forward to me. I was already going in pretty high with it being an A24 production, as we kind of all were. And to my opinion, it definitely met my expectations and exceeded. So I'm
Yeah.
cool, man. I'd highly recommend.
Yeah, last week we were kind of like ripping Snake Eyes for being so much in close up, and just like everything was like in extreme close up range. And I felt like this movie struck a great balance of being in close up and allowing the actors to express themselves and have that kind of intimate angle, and also making it feel like an actual movie still.
Yeah,
But I think overall recommends all around.
yeah, this is definitely recommend for me. I was looking
hell
up
yeah.
here. I wanted to see who the composer was on this, and it is a man by the name of Daniel Hart, who has done. Let's see if I really can recognize anything here. A Ghost Story in 2017,
Which is another David Lowery movie.
okay. Pete's Dragon, David Lowery.
Mike Lowry.
Not a lot
Sorry.
of other things that I can see.
It's Anthem Body Saints
Yep,
on there.
Eighth and Body
So
Saints.
that's another David Lowery
David-
thing.
okay.
Old
So-
Man and the Gun.
Yes.
Yeah, so I imagine he works with
I imagine
Lowry
so.
pretty
Sounds
consistently.
like it. But hats off to this gentleman.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Hats off. So I think that's going to be it for all we really have to say here on the non-spoiler sides of things. That's going to be a recommend all around. So if you have not seen The Green Knight,
No, I would say if you are an average film goer or like your regular Marvel head, this is going to be a pretty big step outside the comfort zone for you.
100%.
So definitely watch a trailer, and if it feels like something that you're going to enjoy, then definitely go see it. But it is not your typical movie for sure.
I'm trying to think if I can compare this to something.
It's much closer to a Pan's Labyrinth than it is to a Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and that's that's a good observation, Nathaniel, because that's kind of what I was pitting it against in my head was Pan's Labyrinth after I kind of finished it. Then even to your point of that's a great clarification where this is an A24 movie, and so we're film heads, right? And so we're into this type of stuff. The average person though will probably watch this movie and be like, "This is boring as fuck."
Like I don't.
So
no one. Yeah.
right.
The average movie goer is gonna be like, "What? I don't understand it." Like I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're a casual movie talk podcast, folks. We just want to let you know too.
This is more on the filmic side
sure.
of that. This is
This movie is not for everyone, but anybody who knows what this film is and knows what A24 is will already know that it's not for everybody. So that's the easiest way to put it.
That is a great way to put it. So if you have not seen The Green Knight and do not want it spoiled for you, go ahead and check the episode description where I have put a timestamp you can jump to, where you'll be taken to the ranking of the movie up upon our entropy list.
Hop upon.
Spoilers. You don't feel like reaching over?
It's very far.
It's fine. That's fine. That's acceptable. Shit goes down.
Shit does go
across
down.
the way.
This movie's awesome, man.
Dude, this movie's so much fucking fun, dude.
I like it better than Pan's Labyrinth. Tyler and Nathaniel can kill me.
Dude, I'm with you. I mean, you guys know I don't love Pan's Labyrinth, so
I'm with you
not
too,
that much
dude,
of a jump for me. But yeah, this was just like way more up my alley than a Pan's Labyrinth.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm surprised but gladdened by both of yours reactions here.
Yeah, I love medieval stuff. Definitely one of my favorite kind of timepieces, more than Vikings, more than more than like Civil War era. I don't know what's the kind of
Revolutionary
Yeah, I guess
War?
that's
as far as time periods go, medieval's up there.
Okay.
So definitely hit home for me in that front, and I love the set design and everything, as I mentioned in the non-spoilers there. I feel like they really hit a nice balance where obviously they didn't go crazy, and they had it more on a small scale, which I enjoyed, but they had enough for me to believe it, and it was really, really a good balance there, and I'm glad they struck it, because if it was anything less, I probably would have taken a lot of appreciation for the storytelling and world building that it wouldn't have hit as well with both the storytelling and the world building wouldn't have hit as well if there was any less production put into it. But they have just enough, and it works really, really well.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Blake, you want to expand on your thoughts a little bit?
Yeah, man. I was bought into the world so early, and I think that's just what kind of put me onto it. And then I'm not the biggest in terms of like fantasy and things of that nature, but this was just so much more intriguing to Pan's Labyrinth this was so much more intriguing than Pan's Labyrinth, excuse me. So yeah, that's just kind of what sold me on it. And then, like I said, just the sound and the score for this movie and the dialogue is just what made it spot on to me.
There's like 20 minutes.
Everything was believable. I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
Oh no, you finish.
Well, yeah, everything was just like from the fucking creaking to every time the Green Knight moves. Yeah. Like this shit it's so believable, and it sounds so right. And go ahead you can get
I was gonna say there's like 20 minutes where no one speaks in this movie, and I don't even notice.
Yeah, no, it's
and I don't care. Like I love it. And then it happens a few times where there's just long stretches where like no one talks and there's no dialogue or anything. But the storytelling is just so effective, and even in the beginning, like things move pretty quick in the beginning.
Yeah, so I was kind of gonna ask, what is it about this movie that you feel like pulls you along? Because it's not a movie with a traditional story arc or anything like that.
Right,
so what is it for you guys specifically as kind of more casual movie viewers? I'm curious, what was it that like kept you so invested throughout?
I'll answer that first. I think it was just the story of Gawain in general, and just kind of seeing how he was going to, either like overcome this challenge, because the whole time you're figuring out, it's like, okay, well, if he had to get there, does he have to
take the blow that's going to be returned?
Right.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, then like that's kind of on your mind. Then he's going through these various like tasks and quests while he's going over there. Right, he's taking the 6 nights to the north, or whatever it is, right? And he's comes into a task where he has to help like what is it, like a widowed
ghost?
Headless woman. Yeah, I guess is the easiest way to say it, right? So he does that, and like you can see he's just being tested for things. So you're seeing that, and you're seeing like his growth. You're kind of intrigued by like the fox thing, because like just kind of me and my horror background, that's like, okay, is this like witchcraft with the fox?
Sure.
Because that's usually what animals represent in like this time period. So yeah, and then the whole time you're also trying to figure out like, okay, like what is this Green Knight, you know?
What's the purpose here?
Yeah, so I don't know, dude. I was really intrigued. Adam, what do you think, man?
I definitely have a lot of the same reasons. I think Gawain's a great protagonist, and they just set him up really well in the beginning, where you can definitely tell like he's kind of just like a bum, and he has no aspirations. And this whole movie is kind of like a very extreme get out of the basement, mom kicking her son out of the basement kind of situation. But then also Dev Patel's acting is just fucking incredible. Like, can we talk? We didn't talk about that in Non-Spoilers. The acting in this is fucking awesome, and I like Dev Patel's great. Everyone in this is great, but he does such a great job with such little dialogue in this film, both through when he's on his quest, and then especially in that last sequence where it's the what if he decides to run.
It goes
away
all
from
La La Land on us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's the whole there you go. That whole La La Land sequence, you know everything he's thinking, and the other characters, but you know every single thing that he's thinking in every single frame of that sequence, with effort, without having to guess. Like, just incredible. And those two things combined just really hooked me. And then Blake, you knocked it on the head as well. Just the sound mix and everything. When the Green Knight shows up, and then you're just kind of like, oh shit, like what's going to happen here?
Your eyes are glued when he walks in.
Yeah, you're like, I wanted to look away but couldn't. It was like,
right.
I feel like some shit's about to go down, but I also didn't want to look away because I was just so intrigued about what was going on screen, and doesn't happen very often in a movie, and probably watching in theaters when I haven't seen a lot in theaters maybe played into it, but nothing grips me to the screen nearly as much as that did.
Were you surprised when he cut his head off? Or?
I was too. I thought the rules of the game were pretty explanatory.
Okay.
I was like, I would just like tap him on the shoulder and be like, I'll see you in a year or something like that. But nope, he goes straight for the decapitation. And I was like, all right, dude, you're fucked. I thought it was pretty self-explanatory. But maybe he just wasn't listening.
Well, I guess I think he figured cutting his head off would probably kill the man, but
right.
Dude, but I thought this man obviously is not fucking normal. He puts his axe down and the fucking weeds grow from it. Like he's obviously some sort of mystical being. He's giving you some kind of riddle game. When that happens, well, shit, I ain't gonna take any chances. He said I'll strike blow for blow. Right. It made sense to me.
But even King Arthur, before Gawain goes up there, right? He's like, remember, like it's only a game.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? So it kind of puts like a lighthearted touch to it. But I mean,
for sure.
I don't know. Let me ask you guys this then, because obviously it seems his mother summoned the Green Knight, right, through some sort of witchcraft. Do you think what do you think the purpose for that was? And you guys have
definitely, I think for motivation.
Well, I think the kind of implication too is that. Isn't in Arthurian myth a lot of times that like his stepsister or anything like that is Morgan Le Fay too? So I wondered if maybe it was going to be kind of like tied into that.
So I did look up in one of the articles that explained the differences. I think it explained at some point in the original poem, it is a witch. I think maybe Morgan Le Fay, but it is a different witch that summons the Green Knight. And in this one, they just basically make her his sister that witch.
Yeah, I thought that might have been.
I think that lady's his mom.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but it's the king's sister.
It's King Arthur's sister.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't.
Which, and I think that guy, like the guy that was there later that takes the baby with the kind of markings under his eyelids, that's supposed to be Merlin, too.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
right.
That makes sense.
That'd be cool. But, just, this was awesome.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It's weird. I feel like not knowing the story and knowing what was going to happen in there maybe took some of like the tension out a little bit for me.
Because I
I could
no
definitely
idea
see that.
where that was going. Yeah.
Where like for me, just knowing kind of where that was, it like I still was able to enjoy it, but it like it's a pretty direct adaptation. So there's like I just kind of knew what the structure was going to be, and because it doesn't follow maybe that same kind of typical modern storytelling structure, some of that little bit of tension was lost to me. I'll be interested to see how you guys feel going back to it, having seen it once already, and kind of what that'll be in it for you. But yeah, I think we've already kind of talked about it. I think it's shot really, really well. Lowry definitely knows what he's doing with that. He does a great job getting pretty great performances from all the actors. That was interesting that Alicia Vikander plays the dual role.
Yeah,
that was.
I was gonna ask, how do you guys feel about that?
I think it's really smart.
Yeah, there was a couple times I was like, when she was in the character of Essel, I was like, is that Alicia Vikander? Like, I think that is. And then she showed up later. I was like, well, that's definitely her. Yeah. And I just couldn't, I couldn't quite tell if that was actually her as the other one too. So yeah, I mean, that's even tied in with old stagecraft where in the Shakespearean days a lot of times you'd have actors that play multiple roles that show up from the beginning and then are there present as like another character later on in it, and a lot of times they're kind of linked to each other in some ways and everything. So I don't remember in the actual novel or in the poem anything that was really linking those characters. So I think that's a pretty intentional choice on their part to go with that. But overall, like I said, I enjoyed it for sure. I think maybe I was hoping for a little bit more stylization in some parts, maybe like even a little like a step further on there, just based on kind of some of the commercials and some of like the promotional material.
I can see what you're coming from.
But overall, I think it's a really well crafted, really well made movie. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, Tyler, you've been kind of silent over there.
Yeah, I've just been waiting for you guys to kind of, say your.
Yeah, we've been talking like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are good. I mean, whenever we get a movie that we all thoroughly enjoy, it's really easy for all of us to kind of jump on in, and then, I can only say, what you guys have really touched on, and I mean, I think one of the things that really landed with me was the fact that it was shot so close to perfect. It's a beautiful movie.
Beautiful.
You really just, I can't wait to see this thing on 4K.
Yeah.
On a TV.
Oh, I'm 100% buying this 4K DVD.
Because there's a lot of contrast stuff that goes into this, and obviously it plays a lot into the overall time period of it, and there's a lot of mysterious things that you can see, and I mean, there's a lot to go into this, and it really makes you think overall just how you start looking at life and how time is so precious and things like that. And not only is this just an adaptation of a poem, but there's a lot that goes into these things. And one of those things that you guys were just talking about, how the actress plays two people, that's intentional. One, because it's his, we'll call it love,
his love interest
in the beginning, and that's his real life, and now he gets into this mansion, which is clearly a magical ploy to keep him from going on his journey, but his temptation is the same person that he finds attractive and in love with in his real life. So there's a lot of things that go into these, but yeah, it's acting is absolutely insane. Dev Patel does an incredible job. Everybody does a really good job, even when there are those scenes that have the lack of dialogue. There's just so much raw emotion, and the facials and just the overall scenery plays a lot into that. But yeah, I mean, I really like it. I definitely can't wait to do a second watch. Like I said, there's a lot to digest when you get into one of these. Yeah. But going in off a small budget, and we obviously know the background that A24 has, I think they nailed this.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Then even with the woman, and I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but playing both roles. I think, like you
Alicia
said, that can kind
Vikander.
of go into, yeah, correct. That can kind of go into his perception. I'm like, okay, like is some of this stuff just in his head? You know, there's so many more questions that can arise from that.
Yeah, I definitely think in relation to his overall story, that felt like he had to kind of come to grips with facing the fact that his love interest at home couldn't make her his lady, even though that's who he kind of truly loved. It seemed like, and he had to accept
absolutely.
that, and then he finally encounters the exact same figure, but in someone he could see himself with, but he has to kind of face the fact that he can't do the infidelity thing because there's obviously that she was like the lady of the manor and everything, and there's still some things I would love some clarification on, and maybe I'll pick it up on a more on a second watch, but like was that imaginary, those two characters, like that manor and everything?
In the poem, I want to say the last man and the noble and his wife are a test in and of itself, and I believe the nobleman in the original poem ends up being the Green Knight,
Okay.
and is like, but it's also like one of those things of like where it's kind of like, yes, it was all me, and now it was all for good fun, and didn't you learn something? So let's go do this thing later. And it's like, well, you have weird powers, and you can just do those things. It's like, yep, forget about it. This is old. Things didn't make sense then.
Yeah.
Have a good day. We all learned something, right?
Okay.
So I think with this, they just kind of wanted to separate that a little bit more and kind of obviously have like the trial of the thieves, the trial of the ghost, and then the trial of the seduction and everything.
Yeah.
Because I remember
friendship, he befriends the fox.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
he kinda,
yeah.
like, shits on the fox for a while, then it ends up being his companion.
So yeah, I think that's just a little bit more tied into that.
Sure.
Yeah.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up was that mushroom trip. Was that just a mushroom trip, or
I think it was, yeah.
okay? Like, I'm not mad about it.
Sometimes
I liked it. It
when
was
you're
kind
out
of
in
fun.
the world.
Oh yeah, immediately when he grabbed those mushrooms, I was like, this movie's about to go somewhere wild for a second.
Yeah.
And it definitely did.
It's summer, baby.
Yeah. Spoilers. Haven't seen it.
It's not a big part
Okay.
of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But he grabbed those. I was like, oh, we're about to have some fun here, I guess. And I don't know if I couldn't decipher much purpose from the fact that he tripped shrooms, but I was still in. Like, it was still cool to see, but I don't know did you guys decipher anything from that, story-wise and character-wise?
I think it's just it always serves as one of those reducing a character to his base moments or stripping away that last kind of level until you get to what the character is really feeling or anything like that. Rather than any significant one way or the other type deal.
I mean, that was definitely like probably one of the more weirder parts of this movie.
Absolutely.
Where you see those giants and everything.
Yeah.
And I definitely think I was like, he's probably just still tripping, and that's what that's what part of the sequence was. But I was like, why include this?
I liked that it gave you a good sense of like when it was that time and you were leaving, you just didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You had no idea of like where you were going, what could be out there.
He gets to that intersection, that crossroads, and he's like, well, shit.
Yeah, like
Green
if you
Knight
were
didn't-
coming back, and if you did come back, the stories you could tell, no one could like argue with you.
Yeah.
You could just be like, yeah, I saw a bunch of giants out there. They're stones, and they move around and make weird noises, and everyone would be like, well, yeah, we're too chicken shit to go find out. So yeah,
Right.
sounds about right.
Yeah. Man. All right.
Let me ask you this then, Adam, before we wrap
Oh,
up.
yeah, go
Do you
ahead.
think the entire thing was a test, or do you think the Green Knight delivers the blow?
Oh, do you think he actually beheads him at the end?
Mm-hmm.
This won't change my answer, but Nathaniel, do you know if he beheads him in the
He does not.
poem? Okay, he does not.
I was gonna say I don't believe he does.
I can't imagine he does. I think the final test is he takes off that cloak and realizes he just has to relinquish all kind of protection and just kind of accept. And now that he has accepted the Green Knight, it says off with your head, but I don't think he actually does.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
I
I
think that was the test.
remember right, it's got something to do with the green girdle or green belt or whatever it is, and like I want to say that it was in the novel or in the poem or whatever, it had to do with like that bet that they make where he's like, I'll give you whatever I find in the forest, you give me whatever you find in the house.
Yeah,
And
right.
the wife gives him the belt with the idea of like it's going to protect him, and then he doesn't give that on to the lord of the house, and instead wears it as an extra level of protection against the Green Knight. And then I want to say that like the Green Knight attacks him and it just like doesn't work because the belt actually works, and then they like have a big laugh about it or something like that. But again, this was many years ago that I read it, so I can't fully comprehend. But there was certain parts of that were more emphasized in there. But yeah, I don't think the Green Knight offs him. I think he just makes the motion and says that's good enough, kind of thing.
Yeah. What does he say at the end? He's like, "We'll let us get to hacking." I think.
Yeah.
He finally takes it off. It was funny.
Yeah, I absolutely loved the La La Land sequence. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, where you see everything in the future.
Everything that happens, and you can just see the shame that he holds with him for the rest of his life, and it affects every single part of his life. He's miserable, and it's just nothing comes of his life. He inherits a throne, but then obviously his kingdom's sacked and everything. It's such a harrowing sequence to see him go through that, and it's so painful not knowing if that's just how the movie's gonna end or not. Because I had an idea. I was like, there's no way this is actually how this ends.
That'd be shitty.
Yeah, it would be kind of shitty. But you kind of didn't really know, and maybe that was just they wanted to end it in a somber tone like that. But I mean, where he has a kid with Essel and then just takes it away from her, like that was brutal to watch.
Did you guys catch when he had that conversation with Essel earlier? And she's like, "Hey, like, would you make me your lady?" And she's like, "Well, I have to give you all my gold." And he's like, "Well, I already have your gold. I want to know if you could take my hand and have your ear and yada yada."
Yeah.
Then he kind of goes to that La La Land sequence, like you were saying. And she has the baby, then he just gives her his gold. So yeah, they kind of like called back to that as well, where it's like, yeah, like you're not gonna be my lady, you're not gonna have my ear, you're not gonna have my hand, but I'll just give you my money.
Yeah,
and he just he dumps the gold off on her bed.
Yeah.
After she gives birth. So yeah, a lot of slight callbacks like that.
Sure.
I love this movie, dude.
This was awesome.
There's no way around it.
Yeah, this was fun.
Well, let's see where it ranks.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and rank the Green Knight up upon the entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. This is essentially how we rate movies, rather than do it out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We're going to go ahead and throw up all the movies we review on one giant list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the entropy list for yourself, you can do so by heading to the episode description where it is linked to my Letterboxd. This is going to be a fun one.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, it might be a split decision.
This is not going to be...
Who are you passing it to first?
A bloodbath.
I want to go
to here with Ty.
To Ty? Okay, we can go to Ty. Ty, where are you at? You were
What
probably
the fuck, guys.
Too soon?
Tough one, man.
No idea at all.
I could go if you want me to.
Go ahead, Nathaniel.
I have this at 18.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh man, is right.
I like that though, because Kill Bill's in an odd spot.
Yeah.
So it's like this list is so hard, dude.
It is.
You start like looking at shit like, well, is it better than this?
Yeah, I think for me it's head and shoulders above like The Conjuring and basically everything that's below that. I think it's just doesn't quite get into that Kill Bill level on there. Like if I could swap maybe Black Messiah and this one at 18 for 13. And maybe swap those in there. I might think about that.
Right.
But just for the rest of this, like the rest of those ones up there are just that next level for me. And again, this may change. Like, we may get to the personal entropy lists, a year-ish from now, and I might have this one much higher.
After a rewatch.
Right. Yeah, but for right now, for me, I think upon initial watch, I've got it right there at 18.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. Tyler, have you had any more time to consider?
Kinda, not really. I mean, I would put this at 13, just like first glance.
13.
But
Okay.
I'm debating
good
on
spot.
if it goes higher.
All right. Why don't you hold off before you give your final ranking here? Blake, do you have an idea?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm gonna push 9.
9. So
Yeah.
below Inception, above Your Name. Oh, so we should also say 18 is below Kill Bill Volume 1 and above The Conjuring.
That is true.
Right. So no, I would
9.
go 9 would be above Inception.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So above Inception, under Get Out.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to go 12.
Okay.
With the caveat
Yeah.
of I wish Pan's Labyrinth was much lower.
I know, dude. Just that I just wanted to be like, well, technically on paper, I want to put it at
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, but
And
I
on
can't
paper,
put it
I was
above
also
those
like
other
4 is
I
good.
don't understand how you can like this and not like Pans.
movies. Maybe I need to rewatch Pans, man. Like I said, I watched it once in high school. Then I watched it again for this pod. Maybe I need to try to rewatch it like now with an open fantasy brain. You know?
Maybe. I don't know if it'll do it for me.
I don't know, man.
We'll see. But yeah, I'm at 12. Obviously, Whiplash and Your Name. It takes a lot to crack those two for me,
That is
and
true.
everything above those is still really, really good. But those Your Name and Whiplash are just so high for me.
So you're putting this above Green Room.
Above Green Room. That was the one where I was like below or above Green Room. And I
Yeah,
think,
I'm with you though.
I think I got to put it above Green Room just because it's so much more of a movie that I love, and I think it pulls it off more. Whereas like Green Room, it's a great movie, but it's like 90 minutes, kind of a short burst,
Okay.
small scale. I don't know. This was just more grandiose, and it was more of an adventure. It was and it pulled it off just as well as Green Room. So because it had those extra notches there, I think I'm gonna put it above.
Fair enough.
Tyler, where's your final verdict at?
I think I'm still okay at 13.
13. So we got and that's below Green Room and above Judas and the Black Messiah. So we have a 9, a 12, 13, and an 18. I want to say 12/13 is probably the middle ground here, right? Probably 13, I would say.
Yeah, seems that way.
Yeah, 13 seems like it's a good middle ground. Everybody cool with 13? Ty, of course, is, but Blake, I know it's probably a little bit lower.
No,
than you
I
want it to be.
could live with that. 13 is what? Under Judas?
Under
Green Room,
no,
above
under Green Room.
Judas.
Yeah.
Which Green Room is
that.
like.
I like Green Room.
Yeah, Green Room's great.
And it's so rewatchable because it's 90 minutes.
Yeah,
so like,
exactly. Green Room's.
I don't know how often I'll go back and rewatch this movie, and I do
sure.
like it a lot, but that says a lot as well.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool at 13. So I think that's where it's gonna land. The Green Knight ranked at 13, below Green Room, above Judas and the Black Messiah. Wish it was a little higher.
Yeah, man. I don't know what the fuck's gonna crack top 10 then, man. Of anything new, like I don't know.
We'll get there someday, but it's gonna be a bit. I think.
You think so?
I think it'll be a while. We'll see.
We will see.
We'll see. But
Yeah.
something's gonna come along. Tarantino's gonna release a film eventually. Something like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Dune. Could be
Dune.
TV.
Could be
Denny
Dune.
V. Could be Denny V. Could be maybe maybe the next Christopher Nolan. I mean, there are people out there, but yeah, that top 10 is solid. That's a rock hard list right there.
Hey-o.
Hey yo. All right. Next week's review is The Suicide Squad.
I'm so excited for
Is
this.
this just The Suicide Squad, or is there another title after that? 'Cause
No,
this-
it's just the Suicide Squad.
love
What's
it.
the name of the first one?
Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
This one's got a the in it. It's reverse.
Right.
It's reverse social network.
Fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like, we're
Add the.
yeah. Add the.
So yeah, go ahead, either check that out in theaters or, as I said earlier, on HBO Max, one of the two, and then join us for our review next week. I'm moderately excited for this. Not like over the moon, but I have faith in
James Gunn.
James Gunn. Yeah,
I think this thing's gonna hit you in the teeth and surprise the fuck out of you.
I think there's a strong chance of that happening.
I think it rips.
Yeah. So maybe this cracks the top 10. What are the chances?
Or Crocs the top 10.
Or
too.
Crocs the top 10. Crocs
Shows
and
up
socks and
Crocs and socks.
knocks you in the teeth. There you go. What else am I missing here? What's next?
I think it's time to plug it. No 5-star review
no
this
5-star
week.
review.
No, if you want to give us a 5-star review, I will read that 5-star review on the podcast. It can be about anything you want it to be, but it's got to be 5 stars. You just got to give it to us and do it in app. Thank you.
Please do that. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. It's not even that I want to hear what people have to say more than I want the 5 stars.
I don't. I want the 5 stars. I'll be the realist here.
All right.
I'm trying. I'm in service of the algorithm.
That's admirable, and I am also in service of the algorithm. But I also just like when people write in.
This is true.
I do like reading other people's stuff
it's not
out.
that I don't love to hear from them.
Yeah.
But I just like the algorithm more.
I see. Well, either way,
Like both.
if you don't want to write in with a 5-star review, you can share the podcast, support it that way. So share with a friend, family member of the Knights of the Round Table, or maybe you are going on a quest and you can tell the people you meet along the way.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
All right. Also follow the show. You can do so on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and on YouTube. It's just Back Row Banter. Go subscribe to us there, even if it's not your primary place of listening. And then our email for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, anything of that sort is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com.
Boom.
BlakeHolder.
Yo.
Blake the Bold. Where can the people find
Big
you at,
Blake
man?
the
Letterboxd. So I'll be on there to log some stuff. Put down some brief thoughts on this film. Told you guys I'd do
okay.
it for a movie I genuinely like.
Yeah.
And this is
I'm about to go like this review.
This is one of the better films I've seen new release in a while. I'll tell you that. So
I would not disagree. This is probably the best one since Quarantine.
the movie.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
The movie Quarantine, the zombie film from 2009 or whatever that
not the
was.
2009.
Yeah, best movie since 2009.
Statement.
Put it on the box.
But yeah, Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'm be on there, log some stuff. All other socials are Mr. Watercooler, PSN, Xbox, Instagram. Yeah. So we'll log up and check out Freaky though, please. I'm a big horror guy. That movie is really funny. I think anybody who likes any sort of comedy, anything, Vince Vaughn, there's something for everybody in that movie. Please check it out.
Cool.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, Nathaniel.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, on Twitter and Letterboxd at NS Gingrich. You can find me on Instagram at NathanielG92. Follow the Sandpiper tapes on both of those websites as well. Movement in Sandpiper tapes. So keep an eye on there. Keep an eye.
For a quick second, I thought you meant Movement Watches, and I was like, did Nathaniel get sponsored?
Movement has officially not sponsored us yet, but we'll see.
We should reach out.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
need a new pair of sunglasses,
Daddy needs a new pair of sunglasses, and
and I'm receiving.
there you go. But yeah, follow us there. You can always get a hold of me if you really want to. Popcorn Tyler.
Twitch.tv/El Trabajo87.
El Trabajo.
ELTRABAGAO87. Hopefully we can get something going there soon. And then Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd are all Tyler Vidalis. VIDALES. Schmadam.
You can find me on Letterboxd at H and on Twitter at H24. Not gonna plug the Twitch anymore, at least for now, until I get back to it. But I just feel like every time I plug it every week, and I'm like, wow, I feel like a piece of shit for not streaming. Even though I've kind of told myself I'm gonna wait until I want to play games, but it's like there's nothing I want to play until Halo comes out. But once Halo, the new beta, I played a little bit of it for the Halo Infinite. I was a little pissed because I got an Xbox code instead of a PC code, and it didn't run very well on my my Xbox One X. I don't have a Series X yet, so I didn't play it as much as I wanted to, and I was also gone this weekend. But what I played of it, I loved, and so I'm very excited for Halo Infinite, and that's probably going to be my go-to game for a long, long time.
Nice.
So
You
I'll
heard
be
it here
streaming that.
first, folks.
But until I start streaming there, I'm not really going to plug. So that's going to be it for episode 64, The Green Knight. What a good one it
64.
was. 64. What a good number. Nintendo 64.
Dude, it's an underrated number.
It is an underrated
It adds
number.
up to 10.
It's the prime number of 8,
There you go.
right? Is that the thing? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
It's the multiple of 8 times 8. That's not prime number. It's what
I don't even
what's
know
the
what
word?
prime numbers
A
are off the
reverse
top of my
root.
head anymore.
The roots. No, the square of 8.
Square of
There you go. I
Prime
think we
numbers
got
are
there.
all like
Primes are the one that you can only multiply by 1 in themselves.
Divide by 1 in themselves.
No.
Okay.
Divide?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it's multiply.
You can multiply anything by anything.
You can no, sorry. I guess divide by itself. There's only one way. There's only one way to get to it.
Yeah.
Sure.
The way Nathaniel answered that made so much sense. I was like, well, technically that is right. You can multiply.
I guess that
anything
makes
by
sense.
anything.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
Answer.
I don't know.
it's gotta be
I'm done
divide.
with math, man. Have been for a while.
Oh yeah, dude. I haven't said prime numbers since like fucking
Amazon Prime numbers, am I right? All right, let's get out of here,
Let's
folks.
get out of here. Thank you guys for joining us for episode 64. Join us next week for the Suicide Squad.
Suicide.
What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad? We'll BRB.
Hey, everyone, be excellent to each other, and we will BRB.
Thanks for downloading, tuning in, whatever you got to do.
Stopping
we appreciate
by.
it. Go like, comment, subscribe. Anything helps us grow. We appreciate you just listening, take your time, spend time with us. And just be good to people. You never know where they're at in their journey, in their day, in their life, or whatever it is. So just spread that goodness. And we'll BRB.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Please spread the podcast to a friend, family member, coworker, anything that's cool to grow. Outside of that, keep pushing positivity, good spirits. Continue to do whatever makes you happy. If you can do something that makes you happy every day, then you're living life the right way. So we'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
All right, I'm ready whenever you guys are, I think.
Run it.
Do we have
kick it
enough pre-pod banter? Pre-pod banter.
I guess maybe not yet.
Yeah. I don't know what I have for pre-pod banter.
Blake.
Oh, okay. I'm sure Nathaniel. Nathaniel, do you know who Freddie Gibbs is? The rapper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to, so he was at Lollapalooza on, I don't know, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day it was. Nonetheless, I didn't go to Lollapalooza. But he
I
had
was
a
gonna
pop-up
say.
I was
shop
about to say,
on Saturday
wow.
night. At a place downtown at like an Italian like restaurant where you can go there and like buy a ton of merch because his last album is named Alfredo.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so I ended up going there, buying some Freddie Gibbs merch. So it was cool, man. Yeah, long ass line. But it was pretty nice outside, so it wasn't too bad. And like that was at midnight, 12:30 or something
For
like
sure. That's cool.
that. Yeah, that was cool, man. So that was my Saturday.
So was he there? Did you get to see him?
Dude, so and it was me and Tay, the one you guys have met him. Adam knows him by Frosty Plums.
Frosty, yeah.
And then he also messaged you on the what movie was that, dude?
Yeah, the Cloverfield fan.
Yeah. So me and him went out there, and one of my other friends, Tyler, who you guys met as well. You've played Siege with him, T-Shot. I think Tyler's
yeah, I
played
know
the Division
T-Shot.
with him too, as well. Funny enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went out there for that, and we were probably like 20th people in line. We got there probably about 10:30.
Oh wow! So you guys were
10:45.
close.
Yeah, and then by the time like midnight rolled around, that line was like crazy long. I'm sure the people in
that's
the
awesome.
back didn't even get a chance. But we ended up going in there, buying some merch, some hoodies, some shirts, whatever. Dropped it off in the car, then like walked across the street to like a taco place. And once we dropped it off to the car, he was in there handing the shit out. And I was like, dude, what the fuck, man? Yeah. And that wasn't even 5 minutes after we purchased the stuff. So
Damn.
everybody who was probably like 35 and on, like 35 in line,
Got it
on,
from him like
got to
personally.
meet him. Yeah, but everybody who
That
was there
sucks.
from the jump didn't even get to see him. That
That
sucks.
So
sucks.
yeah, why would you not
Yeah.
be there for your first line, your friends? in
Yeah,
line?
right?
Come on.
You think it'd be the other way around?
Yeah, you think it'd be the other way. You think, after
Right.
35 minutes, I'm dipping.
For sure.
Yeah,
Wow, that's kind of
So-
that kind of sucks.
yeah. But oh well, it was cool though.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been to Lala?
No, man, I never have.
Ty?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's just not my thing. A music festival like that where you
I'm
go,
with you.
especially if you buy a 4-day pass, you go down every single day and you're all day
That
just
sounds so
standing there in a
tiring.
mosh pit, going from concert to concert.
I feel like it
oh,
would be
sounds
better
brutal.
if you were camping there or something, you know.
like staying downtown.
Yeah, or like the way you do like a Glastonbury or
I just don't think there's a room to camp.
Woodstock or
It's
something.
Like,
no, yeah, I know,
yeah,
but
yeah. If
Do they actually do that?
Sure,
there, though?
music
Nathaniel?
festival.
Like, do they actually like allow people to like camp on the site?
no, I don't think so.
In
Okay.
like, but
Not
like
at
I'm sure you
Lala.
could. Not at Lala, no. I see what you're saying with other music festivals. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
better. If it's like, oh, let's go for a weekend, let's stay 2 nights, go down on a Friday, see whoever's Friday.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I'm saying in terms
Yeah.
of me
I
getting
see what
me
you
to
mean.
go there
Just get to Lala or to a music festival.
to a music festival.
I gotcha.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fun. But Lala, it's like, wow, I have to take the train down every day,
Right.
stand out in the sun with all these other
Yeah.
fucking
No
sweaty
thanks.
people.
Yeah, there were so many people downtown.
So many
too, when we
people,
were down there
and especially this year
Saturdays,
because of COVID. Like, ugh. I'm vaccinated, but that still makes me squirm. That many people.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not big on music festivals. So I haven't gone to one. Though I could definitely go to some concerts though, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The music festival is just not.
Yeah, it's just not the.
It's not
same.
really. Yeah, not my forte.
Yeah.
Well,
That was
boys.
good enough pre-pod or post-pod banter.
Yeah. Shout out Freddie Gibbs.
Shout out Freddie Gibbs.
Crime pays.
I'm gonna try not to spill my water this week.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be probably something I should try.